Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and today I'm joined by regular co-host Mr.
Andy Conduit Turner. Hello, Ben. How are you?
I'm very well. You sound
I'm doing
really...
my best podcast
Oh, I
voice
see.
because I am doing
That's what you're
the
doing.
Undertone episode. Has
I was,
everyone got into character before we begin?
I was a little bit freaked out by that. I'm definitely in character. I'm always in character. I'm always on. How about you?
100% Ben, never off.
Mm. Plus, we're joined by a very, very special guest. Emma Arneil is the host of the Horror and Her podcast. Welcome to the show, Emma. Hello.
Hello, I'm in character. I'm fully here.
Fully in
Thank
character. Always need a
goodness.
moment.
Before you continue talking in just your normal voice, which is what these guys do.
I've witnessed something terrifying. Now let me just take a moment to do my podcast. Thanks for joining us, Emma. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. The Horror and Her podcast has been going a little while now. It's been doing really well, right?
Yeah. It's we're just about to start. I don't know why I say we because it is just me, which is concerning that I kind of say that. Um, but yeah, it's
Like Venom.
yeah, yes, we are the Horror and Her. So season 1 and 2 has completed, and season 3 is about to start in the middle of May.
Amazing. Can you tell us
Incredible.
a bit about the how you got started with the podcast, what the idea behind it is as well? Because it's slightly unique, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's basically me chatting with a new guest each week about and that guest is usually a woman or femme presenting or non-binary person, and basically what how we start each conversation is with their origin story or their horror origin story, and that's doesn't have to be the first horror film that they've seen. It can be the one that's kind of made them fall in love with the genre, the one that scared them the most, and then they've kind of spent their life chasing that feeling. Um,
That is a great pun, though. I feel like that beats Mount Rush horror every day of the week, right,
You
Andy?
should have stuck with Mount Rushmore, Ben. That was the portmanteau that
Origin.
needed.
It just
But
rolls off the tongue.
but
Origin.
Emma, I listened to you and you pulled that episode 1.
yeah,
You had it going on
I'm
episode one.
still not. I'd kind of played about with it because I was thinking about calling the podcast my origin, my horror origin, or something like that, and then I started just mucking about with it, and yeah, origin came from that.
I'm not going to
So
nick it. I'm tempted. I'm very, very, very tempted to slide it in there. Oh, what's your origin? I won't. Okay, we've
I
got
think
our
it
own.
is
We've got our own pun, and we'll stick with that.
fabulous portmanteau work. I would describe you as the queen of portmanteaus were I not so morally opposed to a monarchy. It's great work.
It is great work.
cute.
Yeah. So I
Thank
mean,
you.
what kind of films have you been chatting about? I guess, what kind of topics have you been delving into?
So we always, I do it again. So it's always kind of how the film has impacted the guest in terms of identity and power, and the kind of the themes that women seem to bring to horror films. So it's always kind of looking at that element, what's it saying about the body, what's it saying about oppression or control or their own identity. I've been so lucky in that we've had everything from Psycho to up to just recently I had a guest on talking about Thelma from 2017.
Okay, not seen it.
It's it
Oh,
is
okay.
fantastic. It's a real kind of slow burn horror. Um, and there's some elements to it are just so fascinating and captivating. So there's just so much. And I mean, I'm again so lucky that the women that I speak to just make me sound so much better. They just are able to capture the kind of nuances of horror and how it speaks to them and how it's kind of evolved through their lives with them and what they kind of liked in the in the beginning, and the kind of sleepover films and those rites of passage horrors, and how it now translates through their life and what they're into now and what they won't watch and what they, what they will watch and what they take from that. And it's so fascinating. I love doing it. It's just the best fun.
It's so nice when you get to meet these wonderful people. And I know I can speak for Ben as well here when I say that we've certainly benefited from having amazing guests on, because they always bring, you can have, doing as many episodes as we have now, you can always have your own opinions and your own hot takes, but I've come away with such a different appreciation of movies that I know well, that I've never even considered, from getting like just a really interesting guest in. And they come from all backgrounds. There isn't like one, it's not that directors are the ones that come with the best thing, or actors are the ones, or writers, or like there's been podcasters, there's been people who are just horror fans who've wanted to come on, and they have such amazing takes. Like my review of some movies we've been covering have changed mid discussion because of some insight we've got from a chat about a movie.
Yeah, I think is best for us to always have a guest. I think it's always great when we have a woman on the show as well, giving us that. So we don't want to be put into the pigeonhole of like film bros, just just two guys shooting the shit.
Toxic masculine energy that we naturally exude from this.
We naturally exude.
Barely move the testosterone in our conversations typically.
So much sarcasm. But yeah, and I guess it's not just films that are focused specifically on what you would necessarily think was a story of female empowerment. I guess you cover some of the classics as well. You recently covered The Shining, although that does have a story of female empowerment within it. But yeah, do you find yourself always going from those films that are sort of very feminist, or perhaps not so much, but have that sort of feminist undertone in it? Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Oh, nicely done.
I didn't do that on purpose.
Beautiful.
That was literally an accident, but it's just effortless.
Well, it's always I never pick the films, so it's always the guests that pick them. So it's kind of when they tell me, they'll give me the film in advance, so I'll watch the film and see what I can kind of pick out and do my research and things. But it's so funny what you're saying, Andy. Like there's been times on the podcast where I've had a kind of list of questions that I've wanted to kind of use as a steer. Not necessarily, it's never a kind of heavily scripted podcast, as you can probably tell, because I will go round the houses.
Best type of podcast to
have. But there's been times where it has just kind of switched and we've gone off on something completely different, and I love that. It's just, again, testament to the amazing guests. And I'd kind of panicked before because lots of guests have maybe mentioned the same movie and wanted to talk about the same movie as other guests, and that kind of panicked me, because I was like, oh, I can't necessarily have 4 Shining episodes or 6 Scream episodes. But actually each conversation is so different from what that guest kind of brings to it, that actually it doesn't matter that the film's the same. It's the story and the conversations that are different every time. So
so you have done multiple episodes on the same film?
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
But
okay.
I'm trying to kind of be clever in that I maybe, say I've interviewed or I've spoken with somebody last year, and I've already had maybe 1 episode of Scream in season 1 and 1 and 2, so I'll pepper that into maybe season 3, so that everybody's, because I would never not include a guest
because they talked about something that someone else
because it's so special to them. So it's just being kind of clever with it, because you don't want to saturate anything, and you also don't want to kind of diminish what they have taken from the film either, but then I was speaking to somebody on Saturday about that, and they were saying that they don't mind. They quite like if a film, say they've listened to something about The Shining, for example, they then go out and seek all the other podcasts they can listen to about The Shining.
I think I do the same.
Yeah. So it's I guess, as long as I put it out there, I'm really happy, and then people can either choose to listen or not, or decide to come back to it. And so had lots of really nice feedback, which is lovely.
What I'm seeing with even with that theming, when you've got multiple episodes, what I'm feeling then is you get to a milestone, you get to X number of years, or you get, to 100, 200, whatever it is, episodes. Isn't that kind of a nice thing for you to then recap on and say, let's look at the five most influential films
Mm,
over 100 guests that we've had over this time? Oh, hey, The Shining was the third most mentioned,
hmm
and it was,
Yeah, that's
and the
interesting.
themes that the people drew out of this were this, this, and this. The second one you could do a look. I'm I'm subscribing already. I already have subscribed, but like that's top-notch stuff.
Thanks, Andy. I'm going to take all of that and furiously scribble those ideas down because that's great. And that I'd collected quite a few on Saturday as well. So I was thinking about doing something with that as well, where you kind of talk about what everybody's or horror origin
Yeah.
was.
Mm.
So
Kind of
thanks.
those great themes to come up with. And obviously, hearing you talk, Emma, about like the guests that you come on, obviously for other obvious reasons, you're looking at female and female presenting characters. Unlike some famous authors think, Ben and I are probably not willing to go through massive life changes just to infiltrate a women's only space. But I am now thinking about all of the guests that we've had and enjoyed over the years for me to like say, oh, have you had these guys on yet? Have you had her on yet? Like, please talk to this person because we've met so many wonderful.
Let's do some mutual guest
Yeah,
swiping.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's loads of people I can recommend. Um,
We'll get them all out like there are Pokemon cards.
that's a
Got
shopping
need.
list.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned Saturday, so you took the podcast to HorrorCon Scotland on Saturday. How
I
was that? I know Andy, you were in attendance as well, but
It
we'll get to
was.
you.
Emma and
We'll
I
get to
met
you in a minute.
in person.
Yeah, it was lovely. It was so nice. Yeah, it was great. It was a really, really lovely opportunity. And my table was next to some friends from Final Girls Glasgow, which is a horror movie meetup group based
Oh
in
wow.
Glasgow. So that was really nice to have them next to me for kind of moral support. And it was lovely. Met some amazing people, amazing horror fans who are just so committed to the genre. The cosplay and the attention to detail was just fantastic. Um, yeah, it was an absolute blast.
It looked like a lot of fun. Did you have a good time, Andy?
I had a lovely time. Got to meet folks like Emma. I've come away. I've got like a little pile on my desk here of cards and everything else that we gathered from people that are developing short films that are working on right now. There are other podcasters. There are other horror movie meetup groups. There are some teams that were promoting films that were there. Loads of potential future guests to come and chat with us, Ben, and films to talk about and everything like that as well. But was spoiled for things to pick out as a favorite moment. Loads of really cool stuff, really nice community spirit. Obviously, we got to hang out with previous guest, friend of the show. We hung out with Ash and had a nice bit of dinner with her as well. Always lovely to see her. And we also saw previous interviewee, John McPhail, was there. I got to ask
Oh,
him a little
nice.
question in the Q&A about what other, I mean, this wasn't recorded, so I can share it again here. He was talking obviously about his very popular work on the stage with Anna and the Apocalypse, one of our favorites, one of our Christmas episodes last year, talking about how we really enjoyed making that film and what the experience was of trying to put together a musical. I asked him in the dying moments of the Q&A, having done arguably the best zombie-based musical that we have access to today, what other monster would he like to do a musical feature in? And he already has one in mind. He has a series pitched about aliens and music.
All right.
We had a lovely chat about it, and we managed to catch up after his time on stage.
Oh,
My
lovely.
people are going to talk to his people. He might join us for a full episode
Oh,
sometime.
sweet. That'd be great. Did you sing a little bit one of the songs from Anna the Apocalypse at
I
him?
wouldn't dare, not to the man who knows it better than anybody. What would you have
Exactly.
gone for if you were going to sing a song to him, Ben?
What was the one that the like evil headmaster was singing? Was it Paul K?
Nothing's going to stop me now by
That's
Paul
the one.
K.
Yeah, that's it.
I would
That's a
have
good one.
gone the tonally strange but lovely human voice with
Tonally strange but lovely.
yeah.
Uh, the amount of times I listened to that soundtrack in full in my car is I'm not willing to admit it because I think on the exterior I try to appear as having a certain music taste, but I did. It
I
was that.
listened to it. I listened to it a lot. Sadly, I traded out Spotify for a different music service, and it is not available on there.
Oh, it's
So
got to be
this,
got to be able
these
to
are
get
the
yourself a classic
sacrifices I've had to
CD.
make for not funding a guy that treats his staff badly, pays artists poorly, and puts loads of money into drone warfare. Fuck him. But also by extension,
What, John McPhee? Oh, he doesn't do stuff
no,
like that,
not
does he?
him. He
No, I
does all the
know, I
good
know.
things. A guy whose name I've not committed to memory.
Oh no.
A terrible bloke. But yeah, it's not on Tidal yet. So if you're listening, anyone who works at Tidal, can you get the Anna and the
You get
Apocalypse
it. Come on.
soundtrack on,
I'll do a
please?
bootleg for you, Andy.
Oh, if you could, spare me a little
Yeah,
disc.
classic.
That's old school.
That's old school. I'll wait for the radio DJ to stop talking, me. And coming up next is Anna the Apocalypse, the soundtrack. I'm gonna nab something of yours now, Emma, and fire it straight back at you. I've just decided to do it. So while we're going to talk about your Mount Rush horror, I would also like to talk about your Horigin. What was the film, I guess, and tell me if I'm doing this wrong. I might be doing it wrong. What was the film or I guess film experience that got you into the genre? What and the one that sticks with you the most?
So the one that I remember, my first memory of horror is Michael Jackson's Thriller. When
Okay.
I was tiny, like I'm aging myself. I'm like horror's granny or something. I it came out now when did it come out? Was it 84 something like that?
Yeah, it's like 83, 84, I
83,
think.
84, yeah. So I was but a nipper. I was a teeny toddler at that point, and my parents were teen parents. And I remember my dad, for some reason, they had a VHS of it, putting it on for his, tiny 2-year-old or 3-year-old, whatever it was. And it scared the utter shit out of me. Like,
Yeah, I bet it did.
terrified, absolutely terrified. And then from that point, always kind of been drawn to that feeling of being scared and wanting to kind of push that. I remember seeing The Lost Boys at, again, far too
Mm.
young and being terrified, but utterly obsessed with it and just wanting, so anything that was slightly dark, like I had the Ladybird Dracula book and things like that, and just being obsessed with it, and it never really going away. I kind of spoke about that in the kind of primer episode about kind of suppressing my love for horror, but it always being there in the background. But I think I got to sort of late 30s, 40, and was just like, I don't really care if people think I'm weird for being into this stuff. I'm tired of kind of pretending and just fully embraced it. But the one that terrified the most was Thriller, and then Nightmare on Elm Street, which is actually one of my favorites. It's going to feature in my Mount Rushmore as well.
Okay. Oh
Oh,
wow.
Freddy's going to be there.
Was it anything in particular about Thriller? Was it the zombies? Was it the werewolf? It was always the yellow eyes.
It was
Yellow
the
eyes
yellow
at the end,
eyes.
isn't it?
That
It
is
was
the
the yellow
moment.
eyes.
Everything else I can kind of deal with. Me and a friend
Ah,
of mine recently watched Michael Jackson's. Oh, what's the one? Is it called Ghosts?
yes, yeah.
Yeah. There's like a short film around that, isn't there? And we recently watched that, and even that, like it's very CGI heavy. But I was like, I remember being terrified of that. Absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
I found, is it Moonwalker that's like it's like a jukebox musical movie, right? And
Yeah.
there's that horrible bit
Joe
where,
Pesci.
yeah, where Joe Pesci's trying to sell drugs to the kids and he turns to horrible robot Michael.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Michael Jackson's got a lot to answer for.
Oh, the worst bit though is the bit where the horrible plasticine people chase him around on the movie lot, and they see his face and their eyes go terrifying, and then he sings one of his underrated songs, "Leave Me Alone" / "Just Stop Dogging Me Around." Goes on a little
Leave me
ghost
alone.
train through those teeth.
Yes.
dude.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Maybe we need to do a Michael Jackson horror focused episode one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Just
stuff.
all of his stuff.
Just all of his, not all of the horrible stuff he's connected to, because
He was trying
good.
to warn us since the 80s. He told us it was bad. Why didn't we listen?
Bloody hell. But yeah, Emma, I'm glad you've embraced it. Because I think like the community is great, isn't it? Like the horror community is great. There's so many great people, and it's just a great thing to be a part of. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So moving swiftly on from your origin. Sorry if I completely butchered that instance of it. I'll ask for your
So,
Mount Rush horror. So four. So we do say four characters, but we are willing to accept characters or just actors, directors, but anything from like a monster to a weapon to yeah. But
There's been everything. If you can describe it with a noun and it can be carved into stone, go for it.
yeah,
I love that. That's amazing. So I've been thinking about this for a wee while actually in kind of preparation, and I was overcomplicating it as I tend to do. And then I was like, just think about the ones that you love the most. So Freddy and Nightmare on Elm Street. I kind of had this little vision, and I hope this kind of fits within the rules of standing there and looking up, and what would I want to see if I was there? And it is the posters for A Nightmare on Elm Street, for Halloween, The Exorcist, and John Carpenter's The Fog.
Great. Perfect. And the post, yeah, I mean, I might need some sort of laser cutter. I'm not sure I've got a chisel quite fine enough. But the engineers and I, we can get up there. We can start
I like the
lasering
thought.
those in.
I like the thought of them being kind of like carved into the rock, but actual posters like slot into these gaps and maybe lit up with some big like moving.
Just get in there with little brushes and little
Yeah.
chisels.
Is it so? Is it particularly those films, or is it the actual poster artwork you're thinking of?
Poster from the
This?
original.
I think a bit of both actually. They're all
Hmm.
amazing posters, but they're all within my kind of
Hmm.
top 10.
So the original Nightmare on Elm Street, but you're thinking the Heather Langenkamp like sitting up in bed, like the glove coming in.
Yeah, yeah, with the kind of yellow writing. I actually have a massive print just behind my desk and the other monitor here.
Oh, amazing.
So she's just there.
And then I guess the Halloween hand and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the classic the fog with Jamie Lee Curtis, like that one.
I like the one where the sailors are kind of coming through the fog. I love that
Yeah,
one, but I do love
red
the
eyes.
Jamie Lee in the red leather
Mm,
jacket. It's amazing. And that kind of black and purple, sorry, poster for The Exorcist is
oh God,
just
yeah.
it never fails to kind of put the hairs in the back of my neck up.
How do you feel about potentially a new Exorcist film with Mike Flanagan directing, Scarlett Johansson attached? Is that right?
Right.
You're making the face. We all feel it. We all feel it.
Yep.
So again, it's like why I'm like Stephen King of podcasting. Why say 50 words when you could say 500? It's like the only person I guess I would trust with it is Flanagan because I am a huge Flana fan, massive, massive fan of his. I loved Midnight Mass. I thought it was just some of the most perfect
Yeah.
TV kind of productions that I've seen. So I think the fact that he has the ability to terrify and devastate you in equal measure will really suit the story of The Exorcist because that's very much when I watch it now, I'm so upset for Chris. I'm
Yeah.
so upset for her and what she's going through. And so I think that he'll be able to kind of I was about to pull that off. Sorry, that's an offense.
If you've got, if
I think he
anyone
will
can,
do it. I don't know about Scarlett Johansson though. I just
Yeah.
I'm not a massive fan since Black Widow, I have to say, because I feel like whenever she's in something now, she is just Black Widow. The most recent Jurassic Park.
It's so difficult, I think,
Yeah.
when you get such a an archetype, and then sometimes it works to your advantage,
Yeah.
like Chris Evans playing a very different character in Knives Out, like because you associate him so much with being the Captain of America. Like it is very different when he plays a different role. But yeah, you do like it's some people it's very difficult to see. It's a bit like, when people have iPhone face and they can't ever be in a period film because it's like you have never existed in a time when you didn't have a mobile phone. You can't be in the past.
How did
Yeah, those
how
teeth were not around
Yeah.
hundreds of years ago.
those bloody veneers? Where'd you get them done in 1308? How did you feel about The Exorcist Believer? Yeah.
I hated it. It's the
Yeah.
only time I've ever been rude in a cinema. I was again story. So I went down to Reading because I'd always wanted to see The Exorcist on the big screen, and there was an Evolution of Horror screening in Reading that Becky Dark hosted, and
Oh, okay.
it was fantastic. It was amazing. I absolutely loved it. And then the next day, our flight back up to Edinburgh was at like 9 o'clock at night or something like that. So it was out, and my husband had said, "We've got all this time to kill. Let's go and see it." And I was kind of like, "I really don't want to." And he was like, "Oh, well, it'll be fine." And I just hated every single second of it. And it's the only time I've been sat in a cinema and I've just been like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, really? Really?"
Yeah.
Like, I
Shouting,
was just
it's
like, "No."
boring at the
Yeah,
screen.
just chucking popcorn at the screen, being in a proper kind of toddler huff about it, just sat with my arms crossed, being like, "This is just shit." Yeah, hated it.
Yeah, I
Absolutely
wish someone would
hated
stick
it.
needle in my bloody eyes. But I won't be able to see it.
Yeah, I think, and also just the juxtaposition of seeing it, this perfect film, like the night before,
Yeah.
and
Oh God, I
then
bet.
seeing it and just feel like,
Yeah.
no, no, not for me.
Again, my argument will always be when it comes to Exorcist remakes. You've heard it before, Ben. You'll hear it again. All the main characters from The Exorcist, Christ, Pazuzu, the devil at large. You know what? All completely out of copyright. It doesn't have to be an Exorcist film. If you want to do a film about a possession with a demon fella in it, that some churchman comes and gives you some Jesus to get rid of, all completely royalty free. You can use those characters. Hasn't got to be The Exorcist.
Have some Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get yourself. I mean, he's going to come up a little bit today. The Lord finds his way. He works in mysterious ways, mostly into the script of films. Yeah.
I got so excited when I don't know if you're familiar at all, but like Jamie Howlett and the Gorillas gang have got Pazuzu, as in they've drawn him. I've got a little Pazuzu figure here, and
Oh,
I was like, I would rather have just sat and watched like drawings of that than watch Exorcist the Believer. Like, I'm a huge Jamie. I never know if it's Howlett or Hewlett. However, it's
yeah.
pronounced. I'm a huge fan of his artwork anyway. But I was just like, yeah, I
Oh,
just
yeah. I've seen that.
should
But the
have.
Choose Pazuzu thing, is that it?
Yeah, I've got it
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. The red one. Again, I've
No, it's
seen.
well, this one's grey.
Oh, yeah.
There he
No, I have
is.
seen that. Oh, look at that. That's great, isn't it?
It's
That's
awesome.
super cool. Yeah. I like that. There we
It's just
go.
there.
That's what we want. We want that version of Pazuzu in
Yeah,
the new
Little
Exorcist.
animated story
yeah.
Um,
How cool would that be? Do you
yeah.
know
with all
if
of
it
his
was like
mates.
that style of animation? It could be amazing. In fact, feature gorillas in it. That would be amazing.
A
Yeah.
jukebox musical, like Gorilla's music, and then it could be pulling all of Pazuzu's mates.
Yeah.
Paimon,
Yes.
Byman, yeah.
Abzu from today.
What's his name from today?
Oh,
Azu. No. I'm getting confused.
No.
Abazu.
Abazu.
It's a bit like if you were
Don't Google it, mate. Don't
giving
Google
someone
it.
a big house for animals and you had a cold. Abazu.
Yeah, don't Google it because we'll be in the film. We'll be recording a podcast about a podcast-based horror film, and then yeah, it'll be too meta for anyone's tastes.
Yeah, we're gonna just implode, I think, if we get any more meta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Moving on from that, a little bit of horror news. I've got 3 trailers to mention and discuss. Don't know if you guys have seen any of these trailers.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. Insidious, Out of the Fervor. There's a new Insidious movie. I kind of thought they'd wrapped it up potentially with the Red Door, but no, the Fervor. Now things are coming out of the Fervor, trying to take over the bloody world. How dare they? But the film is coming out on August the 21st. The film follows Gemma, a young mother raising her daughter in the house she grew up in, who discovers she can travel into the Fervor. But something evil comes out after her, and she discovers she has an ability to change everything. They've kind of gone for loads of scary-looking old people in the film, in the trailer, it seems. But yeah, anybody? Lin Shaye's in it again. Didn't now? Which one did she
She's come
die
back
in?
more times than Jigsaw.
Which one did she die in? I feel like they killed her in the second
One.
one. Number 1.
Yeah, yeah.
Why did they
Patrick,
keep?
Patrick Wilson chokes her out at the end of the
Yeah, he
original.
does. How do we feel about Insidious? Has always been the twin, the like younger brother to the Conjuring films that like I don't really rate usually.
Yeah. The only
Although I
younger
do think the
brother,
Red Door was all right,
the only
especially
younger
because it
brother in that I
had.
do rate, Ben,
Go on.
is the younger brother in that film, Foster, who's
Oh,
acing
yeah.
his spelling test. And it's like, will you stop just being a nice, normal kid? Your brother's in an eternal coma over here. He's in the bloody further. Ignores him.
The Red Door was good because Patrick Wilson sang the theme tune to it, which
He did.
is
He wrote the theme tune, sang the theme tune. Proper Dennis Waterman.
which I
didn't
loved.
he?
I loved because I thought, yeah, you do that, Patrick Wilson. You keep doing it. But yeah, I guess while these films can keep making money, they're going to keep being made. The trailer's out now. Did anyone see the trailer?
Yeah,
I've
is that the
not
one in
seen
the
it.
dentist chair?
In the dentist chair, and then what? Please explain what happens because I didn't actually watch it.
What so there's the kind of token creepy man in the dentist chair. The young girl's looking in his mouth, and it's like there's something in his mouth, or she can see something, and then the next thing she's in the further. It's like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, I
he's
think
in his
I'd rather go
gob.
to the dentist.
He looks a little bit like the scary person from the Poltergeist 2, doesn't he? Scary fella.
Oh, the scary man
old man.
from yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what his name is, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll check it out eventually, but it's just one of those mainstream horrors, I guess, that's just going to keep getting made. But yeah, we will. I'm sure we'll do an episode on it. Andy, did we do an episode on the Red Door?
I don't think we've done the Red Door. We've certainly done Insidious with Nico. Came and joined us for that.
Yeah, I remember. I don't think
Lots
we've
of
done
chat about
others.
putting the big light on because no one in that film does.
Put the bloody big light. Put the big light on in Undertone as well, for God's sake. Right, lamps on. I know I'm saying that like I'm not sat in a cave, but lamps on, doors open. At least I got doors closed. In Undertone, doors open all the time so you can see into the darkness. Oh, is that a figure in there? For God's sake, make your
Draw a
podcast
pair of
recording
curtains
space
for
a bit
once in your
nicer.
fucking life. Come on.
Okay, another trailer we've got for a film called Passenger. I don't know if you guys saw this. I mean, this does look good. I only watched it. It's only a bit of a teaser. Andre Overdahl, I think his name is, who made The Autopsy of Jane Doe, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Last Voyage of the Demeter. His scariest film yet, apparently. Loads of striking imagery in it. It's like a couple. So let me just quickly have a look at the story. There's like a larger mythology at hand in this particular film. It teases a terrifying voyage. I can't seem to find a synopsis for this, but some people go on a road trip and some creepy shit happens. That's what it looks like.
Sold. That's all I
Yep.
need to know.
Yeah. They go on a road trip, and I think like the tagline was kind of like, 13 million people go on a road trip per year, 15,000 disappear without trace. That's a lot.
That's a pretty big
That's a pretty
loss
yeah.
rate.
I just reckon they've got to their destination, but we just don't know where it is. They've safely arrived at their destination, all right? Give them a
Yeah.
chance.
That could be a statistical error. Maybe there's just a data collection problem there. We'll come up. That's the purpose of the film. No,
This is
but
being
there's only
released-
been room in my heart for one trailer this week, Ben. Sadly,
This has been
Okay.
released on May the 22nd. Have you seen something?
just one trailer. It might be your third one though. I'm waiting with anticipation.
Is it Eli Roth's The Ice Cream Man?
It's not.
The ice cream man. I know what you're
It's
going to
not.
say, actually. I've just remembered because I've not put this down. But I'll talk about this first, Andy.
Do it.
Because I know what you're going to say. Eli Roth, The Ice Cream Man remake is being released in theaters August the 7th. It's only like a 40-second teaser, but it looks like. Have anyone seen the Clint Howard? Is that his name? Who was in the original? Um,
Yeah,
yeah, remember that,
yeah.
Emma? Yeah,
I've not seen it, but I know exactly what you're
yeah.
talking about. Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was like an evil ice cream man, but I think he gives kids ice creams that turn them into little psychopathic murderers.
Does he? I've never seen the original Ice Cream Man.
Yeah,
But all I know from watching it is I always look at it and I always get the actor's name. All I know is that it's not Reggie Bannister
it's not Reggie
who is
Bannister.
in it.
No, no, it's not.
Not Reggie
Another
Bannister, who
famous
is a
ice
nice
cream
ice
man.
cream man in
I think Clint Howard was in one of
Phantasm.
the Terrifier films as well.
He is in three.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, this looks good. But there is a fourth trailer that I didn't mention, Andy, but I'm sure you got it
It's only
covered.
a sweet little teaser, but I could not let even a teaser from what was one of my top movies of its year of release, the sequel to it, go unmentioned. Godzilla Minus Zero, first trailer out the other day. We don't see very much. We see a little bit of a recap from what we saw in Godzilla Minus One. The internet is already awash saying a secret in this poster has revealed that there's going to be another monster in it, but I don't engage with clickbait, Ben, so I don't know what they're implying. But
Is Godzilla going to New York?
we do see the final shot of the teaser. Godzilla, his head's grown back. He's back, and he is marching past the Statue of Liberty. 2 years
Bloody
on
hell.
from Godzilla Minus One. Did you see Godzilla Minus One, Emma?
No, I didn't. Godzilla is something that has always kind of interested me, but I've never given a chance to. But my youngest has just got into anime and things, so we're going to start
Yeah.
exploring everything, which is
I
really
would say
exciting.
as much as you can go back and watch some of the old ones. I grew up watching Godzilla movies where, much like in the modern American films, Godzilla is like a hero. He's like a good monster that protects us from bad ones. But I have a love for all flavors of Godzilla, and the two most recent Japanese Godzillas before this new one that's coming out, Godzilla Minus One, is an incredible character study. I haven't actually watched it in black and white yet. Apparently, it's phenomenal in black and white. I think a bit like your experience with The Exorcist, it is worth travel if you can ever watch it with a cinema quality soundscape. I
Mm.
don't think I've heard sound design in a cinema like Godzilla Minus One. And then
Oh,
we've done the previous Japanese movie, Shin Godzilla, on
Oh
the
God,
episode,
yeah.
which is a very, very different movie, but equally phenomenal. I've never seen it as such a monstrous, destructive force combined with a load of people just doing their best at their jobs. Public servants getting down there, working together to solve a Godzilla problem. You wouldn't see it, would you, Ben, at the political institutions we're familiar with?
You wouldn't. You definitely wouldn't.
They'd
Uh,
be talking about whether you'd called someone scum or not in the Houses of Commons. You would not be working out how to deal with Godzilla.
it's nothing like the Matthew Broderick 1998 version, though, is it, Andy?
Yeah, I saw a lovely meme the other day saying, the mark of seeing Godzilla walking past the Statue of Liberty is the first time Godzilla's been in America since 1968's Godzilla Destroy All Monsters. And someone's like, no, but what about the 19... The only...
Genuinely, Andy, my first experience with Godzilla, though.
Oh, I mean, what I will say, my wife loves the Matthew Roderick Godzilla. It's one of her favorite ones. But say what you want about we can only enjoy one of the iconic songs from that soundtrack now, the other one's tarnished. But you can still enjoy Deeper Underground by Jamiroquai unless he ever does anything crook, in which case we never liked it. But the other good thing about it, that Godzilla had the most phenomenal teaser trailer I've ever seen. I think full stop of any movie, it was the height of Jurassic Park frenzy, and everyone was so into dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. And there's that little teaser which doesn't feature in the film, where all the kids are at the Natural History Museum in New York and they're looking at that T-Rex skeleton, and then Godzilla's foot just comes through the roof of the museum and like stomps it flat,
Oh,
like, and
hell
it's
yeah.
left in a footprint. Incredible.
Hell yeah.
To quote
Amazing.
to quote Metal Gear Solid 3, Ben, everybody loves Godzilla.
Everybody loves Godzilla. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, last bit of horror news I've got is that there is going to be a long-awaited sequel to Behind the Mask, Behind the Mask 2, The Return of Leslie Vernon is officially on the way. This is definitely a film we should cover on the
We should.
show,
It's
Andy, right?
tremendous.
Yeah. Anyone a fan? Emma, are you a fan? Have you seen
No,
Behind the Mask?
I've seen the buzz, but I'm not familiar at all. But
It's kind of like, how would you describe it, Andy? It's like a meta,
Like
it is a meta slasher, isn't it? It's kind of like,
like if a Halloween film was directed by Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant.
yeah.
okay.
So it's like a slasher, but there's like a documentary crew. That's right,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
like it's sort
Okay.
of proto creep, I guess, but
Yeah.
there's never any secret that he is a serial killer. It is a documentary crew filming him as a serial killer, and it is positioned very much that Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Chucky are just people that he knows,
Yeah.
but are like his professional rivals. It's like, well, Fred and Charles have been doing this for years, and the thing is that what makes us stand out is we all have a thing, and Robert England has a small part in it as well. It is
Oh, it sounds amazing.
tremendously meta. Doesn't take itself seriously at all, but it's a lot of fun.
Is it
20
kind of
years
what we do in the
later.
shadows style? Oh, sorry, Ben.
No,
Yeah.
that's all right. Yeah, it is. I guess you would say that kind of, wouldn't
Mm.
you? Like, I'd say it's less like played for laughs, though. Would you say it's
Right.
less played for laughs, Andy?
I know it
It's
sort
got
of
some
is
laughs
for
in it.
quite a long time, and then it just becomes a slasher movie towards the end. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Definitely
Um,
worth a watch.
yeah, absolutely. And I think we should definitely get it on the list, on the slate for a film to cover. Okay, that's all I've got for horror news. Let's talk a little bit about what we've been watching. Anything we've seen in the last 7 days that we potentially want to recommend. Emma, have you seen anything this week? New or old, of course.
Um, what have I been watching? Obviously tonight's movie.
Hmm.
I saw that on Friday. No, actually, I tell a lie. I watched Thelma. So the
Oh, the film you
the
mentioned just now.
yeah, and I'd urge you to go watch it. It's really, really unsettling, but really beautiful as well. So yeah, I would absolutely encourage you to go watch that.
Gonna get on my watch list right now.
I'm adding Thelma to my watch list. I'm also adding Behind the Mask onto my watch list because I feel like I'm well overdue a rewatch of that. So, gonna check that out. I've only got a couple of things really to mention. I guess first of all, I will say about Frankie Maniac Woman because me and Andy we've been lucky enough to see um, Frankie Maniac Woman, and what I will say is, oh my God, I managed to interview the director Pierre Sigaridis and the star Dina Silva. If you're listening
She's
to this podcast
tremendous in
now,
this film.
tremendous isn't a word for it, Andy. You know what? I'm always there putting the positives out, but I was blown away by this performance and an amazing interview with the pair of them, and she is just absolutely lovely. It was great to hear about all of the everything that went into this role, all of the themes, everything that kind of like goes alongside. It's because the thing is, it's been called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets the substance, and I guess that does kind of make sense. But in another way, it's so much more. We kind of talk about falling down, as an inspiration. We talk about American Psycho, obviously American Psycho getting a female-led version of the film soon. I say we don't need it because we have got Frankie
We've just
Maniac
got
Woman
it.
now.
It is so. I look like the production behind it as well. It is, if you like your blood and gore in films, it's like it's got it in buckets. Like musically, it's really solid as well. What like there are some great musical performances in
Loads
this.
of Dina's songs as well, songs that she wrote.
Yeah,
So
this is someone who is like so multi-talented. It pains me that I don't already that I didn't already know her before I saw this film.
Yeah. Like the two of them are kind of like involved in almost all of the roles behind the scenes, like producer, writer, director, and obviously they're both starring in it as well. So it's a real love letter to the slasher genre and clearly a project that they've put so much love and time and attention into. So 24th of April is when it comes out in the US, limited theater release. We haven't currently got a release date for the UK or streaming or anything like that, but we'll keep everybody up to speed with when that's coming because you're going to want to check it out. It's getting tons of traction online as well. Like people are lapping it up, which is great.
Yeah, yeah. I think guys, get yourself out there. Email your local cinema chain. We know this happened with Iron Lung very successfully.
God, yeah.
Get shouting about them. You want to see this movie. It is not a gambler, Ben, but if I was, I'd put a cheeky wee bet on us talking about this when we're doing our films of the year at the end.
I reckon so. I think next up so if you're listening to this episode, the next episode that will be going live will be the interview. So keep an eye out for that, or hopefully if it's already out, go and check that out as well. That was the main thing I wanted to shout about in terms of what we've been watching. I'm going to immediately sandwich this with not sandwich, but immediately go to one I didn't like. I saw The Mortuary Assistant on Shudder. It was such a non-event. I don't even know if I've got a review. I will simply say
Ooh.
I was very, very bored from the word go. And we're covering the autopsy of Jane Doe on this show later this month. Just go and watch that, please. The Mortuary Assistant game might be better. I've not played it, but yeah, I would say skip this one unless you want to be, when things are so bad they're good. This is just like this. It's so nothing that I'm not even sure I could call it bad. If
Yeah,
that
that's
even makes sense.
maybe the worst crime if you can't
The worst
find
crime.
anything to even not recommend it on.
So, talking of, sorry, Andy, go on.
No, carry on.
Talking of video game adaptations, because obviously the Mortuary Assistant is an adaptation of the game, the indie game. The Exit 8. So I played the game The Exit 8. It's been made into a film called Exit 8, which is coming out in the UK, I think on the 23rd of April. I haven't quite finished the game yet, but it's basically like a walking simulator puzzle game with slightly odd horror elements to it.
Yeah.
So
It's like an attention to detail thing, right? So in the game, which
yeah,
has, as far as I'm aware, no narrative really,
no narrative. You're kind of just walking through an underground station.
and you have to get through it 8 times. If you notice a discrepancy, you have to turn back and walk back. If you don't see a discrepancy, you carry on walking. You have to get through it 8 times, right?
And some of these discrepancies are very large, and other ones are so small that I definitely can't find them. I haven't finished it yet. You have to get through the station 8 times. I've made it 7, and then have to start again.
And if you don't spot it, you get horribly jump scared.
No, not necessarily. There aren't many jump scares in it. Not so far, anyway.
I'm really looking forward to the film. I've seen some great clips
yeah.
of it. I've seen some early reviews. They seem really strongly positive.
Interesting to see how something so, I guess, basic, like such a basic premise, can be turned into a movie. I don't know if you have you seen anything of Exit 8 at all, Emma?
I saw the trailer
Yeah.
on Friday night. Yeah, some really
Oh, they showed the
cheeky
trailer.
little elements to it. Yeah, but I wasn't quite sure if it was if it was zombies or if it was supernatural, because there was one thing where it's like it came down, I think, and I was just like, oh. So I wasn't familiar with the game prior to seeing the trailer, but it seems to be all over Instagram just now.
Yeah, I'd seen people talk about the game, but I thought, oh, maybe that's not for me. But I thought, seeing as it was getting a movie release, I thought I'd check it out so I can give a little bit more of a good cross section review once it comes out. Because I guess maybe we'll cover it on the show, Andy. Maybe not on the main episode,
Yeah.
but maybe in the.
It appears the fidelity to the game is pretty much 1-to-1, though. I've seen some clips and it's like, this could be a clip of the game.
Yeah, definitely. That's it for me in terms of what I've been watching. Obviously, apart from the film of the week, Andy. But what have you seen
That was all
anything?
the main stuff. Then obviously, Frankie Maniac Woman was a
Mm.
huge one that I watched. I also caught up with you and watched Dead Lover since we last got together. shared with you that not in stench, I gather to add, but accent wise, the lead reminded me a lot of your wife Charlie.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how she's going to take that, seeing as I said she sounded like Staff from Staff Lets Flats, didn't I?
I think it's brilliant. I think there's almost something. This is why you can tell your wife that I said this, Ben. I think there's almost something Shakespearean about the writing and the delivery of
Yeah.
this
It's very
story in
charming,
Dead
isn't it?
Lover. It's very charming. It
Did you get
is
mu
like a
did you
sort
get
of macabre Shakespearean tragedy slash comedy almost.
yeah. Did you get Mighty Boosh vibes? I thought if old Greg walked
Yeah.
in, it wouldn't have been surprising.
Yeah, big Mighty Boosh vibes.
There we go.
The only other thing, Ben, that
Yes.
I did not watch with my eyes, but listen to with my ears was a little parallel with today's film
Mm.
that you pointed out to me, and to my shame, I
Yes.
didn't notice when we did it because I fucking wrote most of the like quite a bit of the thing. The whole idea of a podcast and sort of the messages that come in there put me in memory of your and I project that we worked on a few years ago now, the Halloween Horrors of Old Mill Lane, available now where all good podcasts are listened to, featuring, gonna say it, one of my favorite Emily Booth performances of all time. She knocks it out of the park in that. I listened back to it all this week.
You listened to it all. I haven't listened back to
Yeah.
it all. So it was the Halloween special of the other stories 2020. Kind of crazy to think it was that many
Yeah.
years ago. But I guess, yeah, similar in terms of a podcast that goes a bit spooky, you would say,
Podcast
right?
that has metafiction in it that becomes impacted by the content of the podcast they're exploring.
Yeah. So there's like individual episodes which are kind of like um their own story that aren't necessarily linked to the overarching story, but Emily's experience, she's recording a podcast from a haunted or a potentially haunted place. Um, a podcast within a podcast, right, Andy?
Yeah, exactly. So we delivered what were going to be traditional episodes of the other stories. I was lucky enough to be asked to direct it that year. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to work with each of the writers. I wrote some episodes myself, Ben, you did one, and then we worked with John, with Mike Garley, with Jasmine as well, Jasmine Arch, and we all wrote these episodes. And the only guiding principle, the only time we had a discussion was we talked about thematically what type of time period we were doing and what type of horror we were going to do to make sure we didn't cross over that once. Someone put the hand up and said, Ben, you did like the, sort of industrial revolution even earlier, right? You were doing a story in the time of the witch trials that you
Yeah.
did, like the earliest part of the thing. I did the last episode, which was supposedly taking place in 2019, the year before the events of the podcast being recorded. Mike did a double episode. He did one in the 70s and then another follow up in the sort of early 2000s. John did a World War II story. Jasmine did a one in the 80s. And then we did vampires, witches, ghosts, and we all did these separate stories. The only guiding principle we ever gave to the team then was they should all be set in this fictional county, in this fictional kind of mill, this old mill. And you're talking about the horrible things that happened there generation upon generation. And then I'll stitch it together at the end and give us a meta narrative. And it was so much fun to film and record, and don't think our editing team wanted to talk to me for about a week or two after they'd got it all out because as a monster and basically said, no, 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 can you run the premiere as if it's happening in real time? So as if Emily is
Yeah,
live
we did that as well,
streaming.
didn't we? Yeah, we did live YouTube things. And
Yeah,
again, we don't necessarily promote a lot of our other projects very much on this podcast, but I think because of the theme of this week's film, I think if you enjoy Undertone, it's well worth checking out the Halloween Horrors of Old Mill Lane. We'll put a link to that in the show notes as well because it holds up. I know it's 6 years old, but it holds up, doesn't it?
yeah, and it was one of those things. It was an incredible opportunity to work with Emily, who I'd been a huge fan of when I was like like a teenager growing up watching like British indie horror movies and watching her, basically being our version of Elvira in this country, on TV, and just,
On the horror channel as well.
yeah, like sitting in lockdown going, what are we what are we doing? We can't really go anywhere. So finding contact information for her, speaking with her agent, and actually meeting her for the first time while we were both on sort of laptops and talking about doing this project together. And everyone who, our normal voice cast do tremendous, brilliant work. But I really do think she really outdid herself in the performance that she delivers there. We're going to hear me complaining about credulity in podcasting in this film we're about to talk about. You want to read something that feels like very podcast voice and host? I think she nails it. Nails it.
Yeah. She did join us for an episode of Horror Hangout discussing The Gate a little while after that, didn't she, as well?
Did.
So that was good. But yeah, I'll put links to that in the show notes as well. If you fancy it, you might not.
Yeah, you go and treat yourselves, everybody. Leave a review while you're there. Why don't you? It didn't cost you nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So should we get into the main event?
Shall we? Are we all
this week's
ready?
movie. Okay, so this week's movie is called Undertone. It's a 2025 Canadian supernatural horror movie written and directed by Ian Tuason in his directorial debut. The film stars Nina Kiri as Evie, a woman who hosts a paranormal podcast with her friend Justin, where she is a skeptic to his believer, Scully to his Mulder, if you like. After Evie moves back home to become caregiver to her dying mother, she and Justin are sent recordings of a married couple experiencing paranormal noises in their home, drawing Evie into fear and paranoia. In terms of ratings, we've got 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes 74% critic score, 50% audience score, Letterboxd 2.9 out of 5, and some choice reviews from that platform. Brian Talarico says, "I knew podcasting was evil," 4 stars.
Listen, Brian.
Jay says it's kind of like an ASMR paranormal activity, 3 stars. Kylo says would have called Ed and Lorraine after the third recording, 4 stars. And Aurora says, so this is a reminder to never open random attachments in your email, 3 stars. I think we all knew not to do that anyway, didn't we?
I feel like Evie is very lucky that she didn't face a fate worse than Abzu in this one. When your own IT department send you that as like a trick, and if you've clicked it, you have to go on like mandatory training.
Oh, I hate that. That's horrible.
Just honestly, haunt me to death. Actually, that'd be the lesser horrible experience. To be like, you failed the test when it mattered the most. Thankfully, it was just me, your IT department. Like a fifth dimensional imp coming out after manipulating reality and going, and now you must answer my riddles to pass the oh, please.
A 3-hour training session now awaits. Emma, what did you think of this film? I guess when it was initially announced and it was a podcasting based movie, as a podcaster yourself, did you automatically think, oh, I'm going to have to check this out? Or were you a bit skeptical potentially?
I think I was a bit skeptical. I thought it could be a bit kind of hokey and a bit, not quite, as much as I hate the word, authentic, I guess. You could see how contrived it could be and how they could set up scares. But I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I think the sound design does a lot of heavy lifting, doesn't it?
Huge
Yeah.
amounts.
The sound design is incredible in this film, and I think when we were speaking, Emma, like seeing it in a cinema with like a big sound system, it really does help you lock in on that one. I would be interested to watch it again with big old pair of noise cancelling headphones on though.
Yeah,
that would be an experience, wouldn't it? Yeah, she never takes her headphones off in this, does she? I did keep thinking, just have a little listen, see if that's in your head, because I kept thinking, is this in her ears, or is this what's happening around her? But yeah, it does. The sound design does a lot of heavy lifting, and I think it's quite a unique experience of film. Like I couldn't really think of anything that's come close. I mean, I guess like Host was similar in a way where we kind of had a Zoom call rather than a
Yeah.
podcast. I guess that was kind of similar. Yeah, I guess the authenticity of it is we had a few grievances, but as a trio of podcasters, we're gonna have several grievances, but it's never gonna be absolutely
I mean,
perfect.
to be fair, Ben, like let's really relish this moment because as people who work on podcasts, what we typically do is talk with great authority about things we aren't formally trained in or have a
Yeah,
great deal of expertise in. I've given enough medical
speak for
advice on
yourself,
this
mate.
podcast. But I do, to my credit, Ben, I will often always say that I'm not a professional in this line of work. But finally, at last, the chickens have come home to roost and they have done a bit of entertainment about the thing that I know more about. And I'm going, well, actually, we don't do that.
Do you ever get? I feel like the time when I feel like I get the most free reign. Have you ever had it where some people who maybe aren't really horror fans, but like they'll go, Ben likes horror, or they might go, Emma likes horror. Ask her opinion. What should we watch? Oh, it's absolute freedom to fuck with someone's life.
Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, oh have you ever heard of Cannibal Holocaust? No, it's lovely. Get a family around for that one.
The coffee table, go for it.
Coffee table. Oh my
The
god.
coffee table.
Get
That's
like
a
I don't
laugh in
know
it. Yeah.
some new parents to watch the coffee
My
table.
God.
Oh, we're gonna watch a movie tonight, and then we've got some DIY to do tomorrow. That one of those parents, the one that was going to go out and do the shopping, is not leaving.
Yeah.
I just love doing that. Just like it will never be like a standard recommendation. It like I will literally go into the recesses of my mind to go, what did I watch? Not that I even liked it. What did I watch that even made me retch a little bit? Right now, watch this tonight. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I'm telling my mum to watch some nasty stuff,
Oh, I don't
but
even go.
she don't
I
listen to
don't
me
even
anymore.
take the nasty route, Ben. I go for something that I would find greatly entertaining. But someone's like, "What I want is a really serious horror. I'm like, shopping mall."
Frankenhooker.
Oh.
Frankenhooker. I would recommend Frankenhooker forever.
Yeah. But yeah, Emma, what were your initial thoughts after exiting the cinema, having watched Undertone?
So I had gone into it with hearing lots of kind of bits and bobs on Instagram about how terrifying it is.
Mm.
And there were bits within the cinema when I was creeped out. I was and kind of did the whole like watching through my fingers type thing. And then as we were leaving the cinema, I said to my husband, I was like, yeah, I mean there was creepy bits, but I'm not scared now.
Mm.
And then he turned to me and he was like, you're saying that now. He was like, wait until you have to leave the studio
Oh yeah.
the next time you're recording. And I was just like, why would you do that to me? Because I'm in a separate, I say it's a
Oh,
studio.
I see.
It's a garden office. I'm making myself sound
That is
way fancier than I
absolutely a
am.
studio.
You aggrandize that
That
studio as much as you wish.
yes. And what? So you've got to walk like up the garden in the
Yeah,
dark,
I've got
pretty
to walk
much.
through my back garden, through a
Yeah.
little kind of lane to the back door. So yeah,
Right.
like, and then that night we were driving home and he had to nip into his office to grab something that I needed for HorrorCon on Saturday. And I was sat in the car on my own. Now we went to like the 9:30 showing, so this was like
Mm.
9:45, and I was like, shit, actually,
Yeah.
I'm
Don't like
creeped out
this.
now. Now that
Yeah.
I'm alone in the dark, I'm creeped out now.
Is
I-
this the first time you recorded the podcast since watching Undertone?
It's the first time I've recorded at night since watching it.
Oh, I see. In the
Yeah.
daytime, you skipped up that garden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Come at me, ghost. I'm good. I'm
I
good.
think we'll diminish the kayfabe for you just on purpose so you can walk out safely in a little bit. But do continue to embrace your garden office. You know, Danny
you.
Robbins, probably the most decorated horror podcaster in this country, working for the BBC, no less. He has a garden podcasting studio.
Oh, well, I'm in good company then.
There we go. Yeah. I'd love
He's
to
out
have.
there
I'd
and he's
love
doing
that.
it.
I feel like I'd love to have my own personal
Yeah,
little
I'm
podcasting
very
space.
lucky.
It's a dream.
It's my little horror den.
Mm.
that's very nice. I like the little books, all the books you got behind you there as well.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
The not this film, but the thing that always gets me, and it didn't even scare me. that much in the moment. But the thing that still gives me pause to this day from a horror film, and I don't know why, because I don't think it's going to happen to me. You know, in the Haunting of Bly Manor, the Flan Man again,
The Flan Man.
yeah,
Yeah.
towards the very end, just the bit where the guy is not expecting anything to happen and he steps across his room and then Ghost Kate Siegel just grabs him and like chokes him out, just walks across the
Mm.
thing. That moment has stuck with me forever to the point of one day this week, I needed the bathroom in the middle of the night and had to step across the corridor. And I was like, what if Kate Siegel is there and she's going to choke me and drown me in a lake?
Let her do
What if
it.
she speaks to me in that terrible English accent?
Yeah.
She can do whatever she wants. She can.
Yeah.
I guess like talking to origins, like similar to me. Like I used to watch films with like my friends when I was a teenager, and then we'd like walk home. Like I guess like finish at 9, finish at like midnight potentially, but then we walk home, and there was always a moment where I'd like split off from the rest of my friends and have to go through an underpass. And the worst one was after watching the Dawn of the Dead remake, the Zack Snyder one.
Yeah.
So I remember being like, at the time watching it in the cinema, being like, "This is the best film I've ever seen! Whoa, oh my God, I can't believe it!" The second I was alone, I was like, "I now have to run home. I
The
cannot."
Scatman's going to come out and get me any second.
Who's that?
The Scatman. They all make those noises, don't they? A bit like this film, in fact.
Scatman John. But yeah, in a similar way, like it's not until you're alone that you can start to realize how the film has potentially affected you.
But I think this
Another one, when you turn the light off before you like go up the stairs, that's the
skeleton
moment. You're
will
not
get you
You've
like
got
scared.
to sprint.
You got to sprint because it's going to get you, isn't it? My
Yeah.
daughter experienced that recently. She was like, "Oh, I thought I saw someone out the front door the other day, and when I turned the light off, I had to run upstairs." And I'm like, "Yeah, get in your little feet, just
Yeah.
as you're getting upstairs."
They can reach through doors, and that's what skeletons can do.
Yeah,
Um, like I think this is particularly you talk about the fear that lasts. I think sound without visual has a particularly powerful ability to get you in the long term. Because I know, logically we can look at it and say like it is a tremendous trick, particularly when, your narrative has a character that has headphones on. Scare warning for anyone who's listening on headphones or driving a car operating heavy machinery. I'm going to do it, okay? Just prepare yourself. But like quite often there'll be a bit where someone is listening super intently and she's leaning into a laptop and looking at the waveform as the files, and all of a sudden you go at you, like demonic speaking, if you have subtitles on. English, yeah. And like when those things happen out of the blue, gives you a little fright, and then you can't go back and listen to those things again. So, oh no, what did it say? It's in me now.
the act of like leaning in and listening, like, it reminds me of, you remember when like there were
Like your Hulk Hogan.
viral videos, yeah, you remember when there were viral videos and someone would be like, "There's a really tiny, you've got to lean right in to see what's on this screen," and
You've
it'll
got
be
to
a
get
jump
through this
scare.
maze.
Mm.
And it'll be a jump scare. There was that one where it's like a rolling hill and a car, and then like a horrible zombie face appears.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that in a way where like you start to listen intently. I find myself like closing my eyes because I'm almost like anticipating the jump scare, and I
You're
almost,
trying to daredevil it.
yeah,
You're going to sharpen your other senses.
and I'm almost like, I don't want the film to do it. And I think this film was good. It held back on the jump scares a bit, didn't it? It was a lot more about atmosphere. There were some jump scares, but not traditional like big stabs of sound. But yeah, you do kind of like lean in. You find yourself like leaning in to listen. Um, and they obviously manipulated the sound a bit because sometimes they're like, "Didn't you hear that?" And then they play it back again, and it'd be like as clear as day. It would like go, "Get fucked, mate."
Yeah.
You're going to die.
You're
If you
going to
listen to this,
die.
if you listen to this backwards, it does say "come in Abazu," but only if you change the syllables of what you said quite dramatically.
Yeah. If you listen back to this, and do you know what? We all know and understand. It's just accepted that nursery rhymes are creepy, right? We know that and
They're
understand it.
all about the plague.
They're all about the
Yeah.
plague and falling out of a tree and breaking your neck and breaking your crown and all that stuff.
But that's our history, and that's what we're used to.
That's our bloody history, all right. I want
Don't
my
you
backwards nursery
slag it off.
rhymes. But we know it's going to be creepy. I wouldn't. I don't know about you two. I would never listen to one of those nursery rhymes backwards in any scenario,
No, no.
especially this.
I mean, if even if you've had a kid's toy and the batteries have gone, are starting to wind down, you hear something like that and you're just like, this is just not right at all.
No.
Yeah, hearing these out of context, makes you terrified. My dear old mum had a terrifying children's toy fright once. My sister had something called a heartbeat bear, and it was to help her sleep when she was a little kid. And it had like this bear had like a Velcro pouch, and there was a heart inside it, which you put a big 6-volt D cell into, and then you could lie on it. You'd put it up the pillow, and you'd lie, and you'd hear this bear's
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember them.
soothing heartbeat to help you get off to sleep. Now, my parents' house is sometimes it has had its time. You got 2 young kids. Mum was on her own. My dad worked away, so things got a little bit untidy from time to time. And over a period of time, they were doing some clearing out of some old toys. My sister had grown up a little bit more. She didn't have this bear in her bed anymore, and they had tidied up. And then one night, like in the dead of night, it's quiet, and it was like the telltale heart driving my mom insane. She could just hear in the dead of night, both
Oh
of us
God,
kids
yeah.
asleep, and you just hear like,
God.
and she ended up like, eventually, I imagine what was in real life the space of 10 minutes, but probably to her felt like hours, going insane and like tearing the house apart to trying to find this thing, and eventually finding this bear that just having been put in a bag to like go to the charity shop or go to wherever.
With no battery in it.
Oh, it had a battery in, I can imagine. But like,
Or did
yeah,
it?
like it's she eventually found this, and there's this, it's the beating of that cursed heart.
Poor mum. What a shame.
Oh, poor mum. But yeah,
Jesus.
she did it. But yeah, like to what you said, like the creepy dolly in this one. They found the creepiest dolly that ever lived.
Yeah. I feel like in this film now, I think she doesn't do herself any favors because she does record a spooky podcast about paranormal thing in the spookiest setting. Get a big light on, get I don't know, get anything else going on other than that because yeah, it's just super creepy, especially when you're in like I guess not you're in like your dying mum's house as well. Like
Yeah, get some bloody respite care in EV.
get some
Give a break.
respite.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, or just change the time you're recording. 3 a.m. is unacceptable. I like to deliver some of my hottest hot takes on this podcast at 3 a.m. Those hot takes are going to be lukewarm at best.
Lukewarm banter.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine doing it at 3 a.m., Emma, and then having to go back to the house after that?
Absolutely not. I mean, there is no the witching hour kind of drop down when you're trying to, do an appointment or anything like that, is there? So, like, I remember that being quite frustrated with it because clearly the her our podcast partner is really lacking in flexibility that he's not willing to kind of push things either
Move it
side
around a
for
bit.
her.
Justin, is that his name?
Yeah.
Justin.
Are you
He
sure
was
you don't mind
slagging
doing it at 3
the
a.m.?
boyfriend off.
Yeah, I mean, Justin's one thing. You're getting out on his case right now, you two, but you think about all the terrors that we see here, and we think about how the film ultimately concludes. That poor fucker Justin's got to go to work after that.
You all right, mate? Yeah, I've just seen some shit. That's all right. I've just seen some shit. Anyway,
And also,
time to do the
we don't
emails.
record with the cameras on. They could have really had a bit of no. We record audio only in our podcast. No
Yeah.
visual cues to when my partner is going to speak. Nothing.
Yeah, that was kind of a bit strange. I don't know. I felt like it was authentic enough. It didn't get into the nitty gritty of it too much. Maybe that would be a bit boring anyway. But I think it was authentic enough. As a podcaster, I could kind of like, I was locked in, for the
I know. I feel it
duration.
has more nitty gritty than there actually exists. You can just come and talk to a thing, but I think we ever have like a discussion of, right, Ben, have you got the files that we're going to be examining today?
Yeah, I think, well, maybe that's just the way we do it, Andy. You know, some people might be far more on it than we are. It's a very laid back situation. As I said, we don't do much editing on this show. Um, but also like the instance of that's enough for tonight. Reconvene in 2 days. They put out a podcast every week.
Their pre-record, which we could do, to be honest, if we wanted a little pre-record that said, "Hey, there's going to be spoilers," we could do something like that. But one day, let's not get ahead of
One
ourselves.
day, maybe less than 432 episodes in. We should have
Yeah.
thought about that. Yeah.
But but yeah, the idea that they'd get together and record for a weekly podcast and go, yeah, we'll reconvene in a couple of days. Just power on.
Just power through, no matter how bloody creepy it was. Also, this was another thing I kept thinking. Does anyone else, you know, when you watch a TV show with someone and then you're not with them and you're like, I can't stop thinking about a TV show. I'll just sneak a little look at the next episode. I'd be doing that with this audio. I'd be going, I'm just going to skip all the way through to the last one. I couldn't help I could not help myself. Are they dead or what? Ruin the
I don't think I
narrative
would
for myself.
touch it. I would just be so scared. Like,
You wouldn't go anywhere near it?
no, 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 no.
Mostly for the very legitimate fear of bank account detail theft.
Yeah, well, they'd be
Get
fine.
your bloody malware off my computer, Justin. Don't care if I'm recording on a Mac and it's less likely it'll be impacted. I'm not an idiot.
How do we feel about the performance Nina Kiri as Evie? I guess because it's like there are other people involved. You've got Justin, you've got Mama, who obviously has no dialogue. Well, actually, she's got a bit of dialogue. Leaves a phone message that we
Leaves a
we
voice
listen
note or
to.
two.
There's a boyfriend. There's a friend. But it all pretty much takes place inside this house, doesn't it? We don't actually leave the house, even when Evie does. We kind of stay there in the house, don't we?
Yeah.
Has anyone else noticed that daughter taking care of unwell or dementia or mother with dementia is very, very prevalent in modern horror? I think we've seen, I want to say in the last 5 years, it's probably approaching double figures. How many of this?
Yeah.
We've had it recently on an episode, Andy.
Yeah, it was one of the Fright Fest Glasgow movies, right? It
Yeah.
was, what was that called?
I think there were two actually. So there was the Irish one. Oh, we watched Frauke, obviously for the move for an episode. Then there was a Fright Fest Glasgow movie. We were thinking about films like Relic, Saint Maud in a way, even though that's not a relative. It's more just a carer in general. I guess what do we think is so
Bury the Devil. Thank God I
Bury the
remembered.
Devil? Yeah, I mean, I guess a good question for you, Emma, for as the horror and her. What do we think are the themes that sort of are very prevalent at the time in terms of daughters and mothers who are sick in horror? I guess.
I guess carers fatigue and actually how that kind of unpaid
Mm.
care of someone absolutely can wear you down. But there's also that kind of I mean, mother-daughter relationships provide amazing kind of layers of complexity and a conflict, so that that's always interesting to see. But then you also have that kind of the resentment that you definitely get from Evie and I'm thinking of the taking of Deborah Logan, where you see her
Yeah.
daughter and she's,
Ah, yes, of course, yeah.
she's exhausted and kind of tries to normalize a lot of the stuff that's going on. And I think, yeah, and I think as well the themes of a child becoming the parent to a
Mm.
Yeah.
childlike parent, if that makes sense, and just the toll that that can take on someone, kind of in their mental health. And there's so much. I think it'll be a real kind of critique on our care services and how understaffed and underfunded they
Mm.
are, that actually people are having to do this themselves for their families, and just the toll that that takes. So I think there'll be lots and lots more to come as well.
Mm.
And we
How
sort
do
of combine that carer's fatigue that you've just articulated wonderfully with a lovely, healthy dose of Catholic guilt that comes across
Oh,
from This film as well. We said he'd come up. The Lord features quite heavily in
The
this
bloody
film.
Lord. How do we feel?
Um,
How do we feel about? Sorry, just an extra point onto what Emma's just said. Sorry, Andy. I was going to say, how do we feel about Evie being with like a non-verbal mother as well? How do we think that affects things? Because obviously, usually you get like a bit of back and forth between characters. You know, that frustration can be more prevalent when both the characters are communicating. But having like one character who is non-verbal, like how does that affect the relationship in this particular story as well?
I think it really feeds into the isolation of Evie. You know,
Hmm.
you see her apart from the conversations with Justin, she's just so lonely. And again, that kind of very much reminded me of Saint Maud as well, as just, you know, these caregivers who are so cut off because of what they're going through and the trauma of what they're going through. They just, you know, can't engage with the outside
Hmm.
world really.
yeah. And we see Justin kind of say, despite the fact he lives what our best guess is in London, um, saying, I could take some time off and I could come and give you a hand. Their Patreon's obviously doing all right, but but she has a partner, she has a boyfriend who is the real villain of the piece. He's like, do you want to come to having a little bit of a house party? Do you want to come around because I'm stuck in caring for my comatose mother? No. I'll just be cutting about around my end. If you want to come over though, that'd be great. It'd be good for you to
Yeah.
not have a night off. Yeah. Makes Abazu look like a bloody saint, this fella. What's his name? Mike?
Mike, yeah. And it's interesting because they seem to like have a bit of an on-off relationship as well, don't they? And obviously things get a little bit more complicated. We will be spoiling the entirety of Undertone as well. Things get a little bit more complicated when she finds out she's pregnant as
Yeah.
well. Um, how does that feed into the overall themes of it, apart from having a little statue of all the little babies on it? which by the way, A24 are gonna have on their website ASAP going for
Yeah.
like 60 quid a pop, right? Tiny little baby.
I want that as a Christmas tree decoration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason in the trailer, I just thought it was just like a little Virgin Mary. And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, hang on a minute. No, it's got a load of little babies on it. Christmas tree decoration covered in that. Absolutely. Let's
Bit of
get it.
glitter.
Yeah. Um, okay, so obviously Evie is a young woman with a Catholic upbringing. She lives alone with her comatose mother, for whom she provides care. Her and Justin run the Undertone horror podcast, and we report on supernatural occurrences.
New episodes every Friday.
New episodes every Friday. Evie dismisses them as hoax. What are you even doing on this podcast, said Evie? No, you got to have that. You got to have the skeptic, haven't you? Even though she's reaching in some of her skeptic decisions, isn't she? She's like, it's obviously a hoax.
Well,
Elaborate, please.
I'm gonna stand up for Team Skeptic here at the moment
Go on.
because and you can say that it's far-reaching to say it's the plumbing or what's a fucking Michael Jordan level reach. Michael Jordan, if he was converted into a wacky arm flailing tube man, that it's a fucking ghost. That's a real big reach.
Yeah, it's just pipes from Ghostwatch knocking about, making all the noises in his glory hole. Don't say that's disgusting because that is what they call it in,
It's
in
called.
Ghostwatch. Don't accuse me of having been
That's what they're
mind in the
called,
gutter.
Ben. There were no perverts back in those days, Ben.
And definitely not at the BBC or anything.
No, not a single one.
Not a single bloody one. Yeah. In terms, does anybody really listen to like paranormal content or anything like that? Not really. Did you ever watch? What was it called with Derek Acora?
I used to watch a bit of that in its heyday. Always used to tune in for a bit of
What was it called?
Most Haunted.
Most
Most
haunted.
Haunted. Yeah, that's
I'm
it.
not
With
saying
On.
that
Yvette
I'm not,
Fielding.
I'm
Oh
not saying that I
yeah, is
watched
that?
it thinking about ghosts being real. It was just a good bit of entertainment. Going, no, Dave, no. Thank
A scout man taking up like embodying like all these different spirits was
you,
always
Sam. Sam is spirit guide.
it's a little spirit guide. Yeah, that's it.
The best
Um,
one was the Mary Loves Dick.
Mary loves Dick.
and
Yeah.
says it about 4 times. It's just, yeah, that lives rent
I
free in
mean,
my head.
the one that always sticks with me just because he has an excellent Liverpudlian accent talking about how someone was practicing the black arts.
Black hats. Yeah,
Um,
it's
but of course, debunked by Dr. Kieran O'Keefe, who now works on Uncanny, when he fed the fake information through real story.
debunked Oldacora.
He debunked
Rest in
him
peace.
because he sort of sprinkled a little bit of stuff there, and they even did a proper. It was a bit like those IT tricks where he sprinkled a couple of names. You know, apparently Derek doesn't know where they're going and can't research the thing. They're not blindfolding him like he's going to the Batcave though while he's on the motorway. He knows what town you go into.
I
Like,
can hear the
so,
sat nav.
but he, yeah, he listens for the tones. They click them in, and then, but he, in preparation for them going to a place, he sprinkled some fake information around, like some names of people associated with this building, and they were all anagrams of like Derek as a fraud.
Oh
I
my
talk
god,
shit.
that
Yeah.
is
It's
brutal.
like Derek lies and things like that, and he was like,
Derek is a wanker.
honestly, look it up. It is incredible. I can only imagine like him hearing those come through on the thing, and those little Minecraft sunglasses come down
Oh,
over his eyes. It is
out of order.
quite a time.
Poor old
True
Derek.
skeptical power. But that's her anyway. That's Evie.
Evie, Justin. Do we really delve into their relationship very much? I guess they're just friends, and he's moved away, and yeah, is that kind of
I'm
it?
not sure.
That's all we
Maybe
kind of
she,
get.
because he said we need, and he mentions a place. We need one of their delicious sandwiches. Maybe it's a London sandwich. So
Oh,
maybe she lived in the UK for a
yeah,
while.
we don't really get much. It just seems like she's moved back to be with her mum while her mum's unwell, and that's kind of it,
Mm.
isn't it? And she's
Yeah.
really isolated herself. She's in a relationship with someone who lives nearby, but that relationship isn't doing much for her at this stage. Um, and yeah, and basically, Justin has been sent an anonymous email containing a seemingly random string of letters and 10 audio files. Um, the thing is, they've got to
These
be pretty
audio files look like LimeWire downloads.
Yeah, it's a bloody Linkin Park album. It is.
Linkin Park MP3.exe.
But also like they've put a lot of like the fact that they're recording this episode. It could be shit. It could be nothing. It could be white noise. It could be
I've not pre-listened to this. That's like us turning up and go, should we talk about a film this week? Yeah, what do you want to do?
yeah. What
Pick
do
it
you
out
want
the
to do?
hat.
Pick it out of a hat. Yeah. Well, I kind of like the chaotic nature of that, but they're lucky that they can make content out of it. And again, I know it's a film. So they play these files. It came from an email address that. What did the email address say? Like it bounced back when he tried to respond to it, though, didn't
Slight
it?
spoilers for later on, but it looks like just a random stream of letters and numbers and whatever, but it's actually
Yeah.
Abzu is fit
Abzu.
2K.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of like kind of. I don't want to be mean because I like the film overall. I kind of like a few generic kind of like devil um possession stuff. You know what I mean? Like even the kind of nursery rhymes backwards stuff is a bit on the nose, but I think it atmospherically it works
Abzu
well
is able
enough.
to apply for an email address in the same way the creeper from Jeepers Creepers is able to register a car and get a custom
Oh
driving
yeah,
custom
get a
license plate.
custom plate.
Personalized plate.
I need a new hat and a lovely big coat. Yeah, get
Goes
yourself.
to Moss Bros.
Because he's a was it big and tall?
Goes to High and Mighty, the big and
Oh,
tall
that's
man shop. How's the weather up there? Very fair. Like our prices.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so we get basically 10 audio files, and it's a couple named Mike and Jessa. Apparently, there's going to be a prequel to this film focused on
Oh,
those two. I don't know if you saw the news.
Is there
is
really?
there?
How's that? Yeah, what do you think of that? Nah.
Oh, if we're gonna play meta narrative, much like you and I did, Ben, when we produced The Haunted Horrors of Old Mill Lane, what I would have liked
Never
was,
mention.
what if what if the US release of this had been Evie and the UK release had been Justin?
Yeah, yeah, interesting. You could have seen it from two different
Two
spots,
disc,
definitely.
a two disc
A
collector's
two
edition
discer.
when it's
I
in
feel
over.
like the Mike and Jessa stuff is very much like the first Paranormal Activity, isn't it? Less of Mike being a twat. What's the guy's
Horrible,
name?
horrible
Oh,
day trader.
Mika. Yeah.
Mika,
Shit,
that's it.
Mika.
A
Finance
gaslighting,
bro.
yeah, a gaslighting knobhead. Um,
Gaslighting day trader, sitting there trading currency in his garage all day and then not believing his girlfriend the rest
yeah,
of the time.
like, yeah, I guess the audio does well enough because I can kind of picture it. I don't know if you guys felt the same, but I felt like
Mm.
I could. There wouldn't need a prequel that went and showed me that because I feel like I've experienced it. I've kind of lived it.
It's just
Um,
Annabelle, isn't it? Really,
mm,
that kind of the one where it's the young couple are expecting.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually yeah, that's probably better actually. Yeah, probably Annabelle. Um,
Should we,
so
should we have Baba Black Sheep on? Yeah, do you want the people singing normally version or the creepiest screechy voiced kids edition?
the
That one,
creepy
please.
children version.
Like listening to the kids bop version of songs.
Uh,
Like
what are you listening to?
when those adverts come on, all the pop songs you love, but sung by shrill voiced children. Oh
COVID saved me from having to endure a Kids Bop concert.
my God, I would have
Yeah,
caught COVID, to be honest. Risks be damned.
yeah,
A lot of people didn't like COVID, but clearly it was doing some
yeah,
good in the
yeah.
world.
It saved my bacon. I didn't have to sit through it with
I'd
my
have been
child
I'd have been straight to like the door of an old people's home and
licking
taken
door
hyperventilating.
handles.
Licking door handles. What are you doing down there? Kids Bop concerts coming up. Ah, fair. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
Sneeze on
think
me, quick.
throwing yourself down the stairs would have been a legitimate
Yeah.
response.
Cute.
Yeah. Like
So basically,
you know how
Jess is like talking in her sleep, isn't she?
yeah.
And Justin is like, not Justin, sorry, Mike is like, I'm gonna record you and play it back to you. Ha ha ha! You do talk in your sleep. I'll just believe it. I'll go, oh yeah, do I? She's singing London Bridge in her sleep, like creepy whisper singing. Um, and then there's a bit where they play it backwards, and Justin insists he can hear Mike kill all. I feel I can kind of hear it maybe on the third time, but it's kind of reaching a little bit.
Where they
But
change it to say might kill all.
yeah, Mike kill all. And then they're doing a bit of research while they're recording as well, like hidden messages in children's songs. Um, and then her favorite childhood song, Bar Bar Black Sheep. Favorite? No one says their favorite childhood song is a nursery rhyme. Come on. It was the Mr. Blobby song, which reached #1 in the UK, of course. Uh,
Favorite nursery rhyme.
favorite nursery rhyme. And then basically listen back to that backwards as well, and then realize it says lick the blood off as
They called the
well.
blood off, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the skeptic inside of me would probably be like,
Yeah. And also just because someone says something in a song doesn't mean you're gonna be spiritually compelled to go and do it. I've been told for years to not stop, never give up, hold my head high and reach the top, to let the world see what I have got, and then it will ultimately bring it all back to me. Do you think I am going out into the world with that level of positivity? And I've heard that song more time than she's listened to backwards London Bridges Falling Down.
listen to some. Is it S Club 7?
That's S Club, of
Listen
course.
to S Club backwards and see what you get.
That is demonic.
Do stop,
Listen to it
always give up.
normally, it's demonic.
Yeah. Uh, so around about this time, we kind of see what's happening. Another thing is that Evie does get like a visit from a nurse or like a home visit from someone, and we don't actually see this character. We only hear her voice, don't we? Which I guess is a choice to make Evie seem more and more isolated as the
Yeah.
film goes on.
Save you a few bob as well, doesn't it?
Save you a few bob as well. Evie discovers she is 6 weeks pregnant. I feel like I'll go into the doctors to get a pregnancy test. The fear that you want to get way on a stick. You want to get the answer immediately, don't you? You want to have to go to a bloody
You've got
doctor's
to go and
appointment.
get it checked though, Ben. Don't be trusting
The wee
the
stick,
folks at Moderna or whoever.
20 quid a pop. And this is when Evie is kind of like she informs her mother of her pregnancy, confesses that she feels unfit to be a mother. Go talk about their relationship a little bit. So Evie obviously at one point says we hear of a message that Evie's mum has left on her answer phone, and there's a lot of talk about she's been praying for her.
Do you
Doesn't
want to
Evie
pop to
lie to her?
church this Sunday? Because
Yeah, get yourself to church this Sunday, Evie. And I think she says she's been praying as well, but later on we find that she hasn't. She's been bloody lying about it. You can pray in your head, can't you? I always thought that. People always go, I haven't been saying my prayers, just do them in your head.
yeah, and if you don't say amen at the end of a prayer, that's like not pressing send on a text message. God won't get
Yeah.
it.
I didn't
Soz
actually
God,
receive
I actually prayed this all the time.
amen times
Say
100
amen.
for the last 100 prayers. And they all come rushing, flooding the inbox. Oh, for fuck's sake.
God's
I'm
there.
just
He's got
waiting
like
for those
3
two
screens.
blue ticks.
Yeah, scene.
What?
He's left me
Bloody
on
left me
red.
on red.
They left me on red again, bloody the Lord. So we talked about a little statue as well. The statue keeps like coming in and out of the drawer. What does this represent with all the babies clambering all over the? Because I guess obviously it's very Abazu focused, but the folklore is about miscarriages. Is that right?
Yeah.
And the patron, was it like the patron saint of fallen mothers
Yeah.
or something? Which
Bloody hell, they've got a patron saint for everything.
um, so I think there's something to do when obviously as we get further into the story, Abazu is a demon in Mediterranean and European folklore who's said to cause miscarriages and drive mothers to murder their own children
Because she
out of
got
jealousy.
jealous. She's jealous because King Solomon, after he finished putting all those horrible monkeys in that diamond mine in Congo, he he took a disliking to this woman and went, right, you cursed.
Oh God. Murder their
And
children out of jealousy as she herself was infertile. So Abazu is infertile. Is that what we're saying?
so Abazu was just a person cutting about, and she did some murders because she was jealous that she couldn't have children. So she
Okay.
was demonized as, I guess thematically we're looking at how women who cannot or choose not to have children can, be demonized, very relevant in modern terms, certainly. But this was in the olden days. King Solomon didn't like that, and then she, Freddy Krueger style, after being killed by vengeful locals, went, I'm going to cut a deal over here, and I'm going to come back and make sure, just continuing my work, being evil as a demon.
So are we meant to believe that through these recordings, the demon connects to Evie, who has discovered that she's pregnant,
Yeah.
and essentially exacts the same curse upon her as well. Yeah,
That's what Abazu is getting up to. Wonder when the cutoff was for making new patron saints of things. Like if I do something particularly remarkable, could I become like the patron saint / demon of like corrupted save files or something like
the
that?
patron saint / demon.
Of corrupted save files. Oh no, but you're always like 2 or 3 fairly unconnected things. So I'd be the patron saint of corrupted save files, macaroni and cheese, and Thursdays.
Thursday seems like quite a big one.
I guess you have to work your way up to that.
I was going to say, when's the cutoff for like doing curses? Oh, I've been cursing people, giving them miscarriages for years, and then you're like 2026, still doing it. Either get over it or just just call it quits. For God's sake,
Haven't you done enough?
haven't you done enough? I mean, this
I guess
Evie doing her podcast, leave her alone.
I guess Abazu is phoning in a bit now, almost literally. She does a phone in a bit later. But maybe now, in the world of modern technology, people are already chockers with lead poisoning and microplastics. It's probably like I don't even know how the human body truly works anymore from back in my day. So now she can only really affect people that listen to her audio recordings with her email address that she's been able to register for from
Yeah,
the Shadow Realm.
it's like when Amy Madigan, what's her name from Weapons?
Aunt
Gladys.
Gladys.
Aren't glad
Just a touch of consumption. Excuse me? That's a really old thing, isn't it? How do you guys feel about someone calling in to the podcast live and recording that? I don't even know how that would work. Well,
You have to invest in like a like a phone line, I
I don't know
guess.
how I feel about that. How do you feel
Like a
about it?
number.
It
I
feels a bit
thought
like,
I thought you were gonna this was gonna be a brand new segment that you were about to launch tonight,
yeah,
Ben. I was like, oh wow.
we've actually got some people who've decided to call in.
Like an online. I mean,
It's
phoning
pipes.
and leaving a voice note. That's manageable.
Yeah, leaving a voice note. We've done that. We have done that. Remember when we tried to play the phone through the through the thing? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked
To
all
be
right.
fair, WhatsApp's on my phone. I'm sure you could just play it through the computer.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Now I
true.
think about it.
Thanks for unpicking that for me. I was really unsure about it. Um, okay, so they play these recordings. They play. That's when Evie goes to an appointment at the local women's clinic to find out she's pregnant. She gets the news from the man who calls at 3 a.m.
I guess, oh, so sorry.
I
So sorry
thought he was
about
just
the
going to
hour.
voicemail.
I thought, what are you doing up?
Is your job really that? Switch off from work, for God's sake. 3 a.m. The cutoff has got to be a lot sooner than that. What are you doing in there, John? Just ringing some patients? Fucking stop! What's wrong with you?
Also, pretty sure I'm not an expert in the Canadian medical system, Ben. I've never intended to be. Didn't your receptionist do that?
Yeah, that's true.
Your admin support, don't they phone and
Mm.
give you the results? No, this is. I've
That's
had
true.
to give a lot of bad news today. I'm going to phone and give someone a bit of happy news. All right.
Yeah. I mean, she does say she feels unfit to be a mother, but she does seem quite keen to still be a mother, doesn't she? Like, I almost thought at any point, perhaps maybe the idea of abortion might come up, and that in
She says she wants to
itself.
think of her options, right? She wants
That's
to
right, yeah.
consider
She
what
does
she's
say that.
doing.
Yeah. I just thought that was another thing that could maybe lean into her guilt.
I
And
guess she's
Mm.
leaning into like she has a strict Catholic upbringing and so on. So maybe that's a factor.
Mm, yeah. Um, so they continue listening to the recordings. Some of them are dead boring. They're like, got a 4 hour recording here, and halfway through, someone snores. That's it.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. What'd you
Oh,
send me that one for?
there's some sound spikes here. It's just you like rolling over in bed and the springs creaking.
Yeah. Oh, God. Has anyone ever had that where you like, if you can like track your sleep and like listen? Anyone done it?
Yeah.
You've done it? How was
Yeah.
it?
Mortifying because I found out that I snored.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You didn't sing London Bridge backwards?
Well, obviously. I mean,
Who doesn't do that? No, and
yeah.
there's some things in this life I don't need to know. Like, pretty confident from speaking to my wife, I snore. Wish I didn't. Like, just one of those things. Listening back to it will only deeply upset me even more. Like,
It
my
would upset me
self-esteem can't take it, Ben.
if I was using it as like a thing. I'm going to prove I don't snore, and then I did snore. I'll be like, oh, fuck. I'll have to doctor the footage.
Okay,
Oh, it
yeah,
didn't
great.
record.
Yeah.
Was that what it was for you, Emma? Trying to prove you didn't snore, or was it just
No,
to
I
know?
think it was more like, when you can start tracking, when you get like your Apple Watch and you start tracking your sleep and you can do the ad with the record or the app with the recording and stuff as well. I don't know why I did it because I was barely sleeping because I had um a little one who didn't sleep until they were like 7. So
Mm.
it was, I don't know why I felt the need to record the whole 40 minutes a night that I would get. So
Just so you've got one more thing to. Oh, just dropping off. Better
yeah.
wait. My son's up.
Yeah,
I'll put him.
yeah. Oh, how old your little one now?
Um, he will be 11 in
Oh, wow.
the summer.
Yeah. Saw him doing some quality shopping.
Yeah.
And my son.
Yes. Yes. Managed to spend a fair amount for a 10 and a bit year old. It was yeah. Just
Oh,
I was
amazing.
stood behind. I'd given them my card. And as I was standing speaking to people, I was getting all these little Monzo alerts. Like it was hilarious because it was all these kind of horror themed stores. So it was like £3.50 at dead.
Abazu's warehouse.
Yeah, Abazu's warehouse.
With getting the Christmas decos in.
Yeah, £4 brain explosion and things like that. It's just like, okay.
My favorite. Love it there. So yeah, they find out about Abazu. They're obviously Googling Abazu, reading a load of stuff out from Wikipedia. I'm
Reading
like,
a wiki page.
using the wiki page, yeah. And then this is when Evie starts to notice increasingly strange phenomena around her, such as her mother, like seemingly moving around on her own, or like saying stuff. She like hears her speaking at one point, goes into the room and says like, "You what?
You what?
You speak up, please. I was in the other room, so have some respect." But no,
Two
she's
types of
massive.
people in this world,
She
Ben.
always seems to bring her food and drink, and I'm thinking, I won't. I won't bother. She ain't having any of that. I think they say something like she hasn't eaten in a few like however many days or anything.
Because
But
she
we
says
never
that's
see
because
her.
she stopped doing the prayers with her, right? So she stopped eating.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I guess the scares are really like they really take their time building that tension, don't they? And I think they do that well. There aren't any like traditional jump scares, I guess, because we're so um used to those traditional jump scares and the way they're kind of delivered in modern cinema, especially like modern horror. Um, I don't know. How did you feel about that? If it did feel a bit like you were being blueballed from the
Yeah.
scares in a way, but I thought it was good.
What do you reckon, Emma? What was your take on the pacing, I guess?
Yeah, I found myself doing that thing, and we've spoken about Flanagan a couple of times already, but where you're just scanning for something happening, that kind of,
Yeah.
is there going to be something in the background? I found that actually to be a little bit distracting, but the scene that scared me the most was when the mum sat up in the bed.
Mm.
I mean, that was just like
Oh, yeah.
proper, oh, do you know, because you're just not, I mean, you are expecting it because obviously it's been leading up to that, but when it happens, it's just, yeah, it's just really, really creepy.
Mm.
But yeah, I found myself scanning constantly just to see if there was something.
Yeah. There was a lot of that, especially because like sometimes it would be like a character would be in like a third of the screen and the rest would just be like the background. So you find yourself like kind of looking.
But Michael
for those
Myers is going to step into the
inconsistencies in
background any
shadow.
minute. Abzu's going to literally turn up like Darth Maul from the further behind the little, behind the main character, a little face poking in. I know if this had been a different film, this was an A24 production. Were this, for example, a Blumhouse film, we might have seen some more people getting offed in the build up to it. But effectively, it's just the character experience of our lead character. This is Evie's story, and anything else is kind of an audio insert. If this had been, Blumhouse or another studio, you would have seen that boyfriend disappear from her life because Abzu does for him in some other way. You know what I mean? That would be, he would get some kind of audio thing get him, like his radio, his car radio would come on real loud when he's on the way to meet Evie at the hospital and he'd drive off a bridge, something along those
Yeah.
lines.
Or we'd see Abazu in the mirror, they would do that whole long face thing that,
Yeah.
because I think there is a mirror shot, isn't there, where she close
Yeah.
the cabinet, but actually it doesn't, there's nothing to
There's
see, although
nothing.
you're braced for it.
There's a lot of really signposted scares that it just doesn't follow through on, which again, I feel like that was the best way to do it because then when the scares actually do happen, they kind of feel earned in a way, don't they?
And like Evie starts to get kind of impacted psychologically. She's listening to one of the files again. Does she listen to this one without Justin? Is she like you, Ben, skipping ahead?
I think she does a little bit.
She
doesn't
listens
Yeah.
to she listens to one of them, and then we see like Evil Dead style a camera that's just
That was
like
good
panning
as
down
well. I think
panning
that
down
was
the
good.
stairs, and then your next thing we hear a big old loud like noise, whatever it is. And then next thing, Evie is like face down on the keyboard.
Oh yeah.
10 minutes later, you've ordered 98 million pizzas. I just fell asleep on the keys. What's happened?
On the queue, sorry. Oh yeah, we should also mention there's this weird kind of like viral scary video that they mentioned at the start that that like they've seen in a previous episode that appears on the
Chekhov's "I
TV.
Feel Wonderful" video, which appears almost at random at the end.
Yeah, appears at random at the end. Yeah, I mean, I guess that was pretty good as well.
Is that a bit of creepypasta work? What is that? There's one about oh, what is the one? It's like the smiling dog, something like that, where you look at this picture and then you get more and more threatening emails and bad luck about how you have to tell someone else about the
Classic.
and then you eventually die.
Oh, not a happy ending then.
Yay.
Yay!
The wonders of
This chain email,
creepypasta.
for God's sake. Oh no. So yeah, I mean, I guess as the recordings go on, it just more and more seems to happen. Sometimes not much happens, but it's kind of like Jessa speaking, talking in her sleep, or kind of like getting up out of bed and going downstairs to
Putting the washer on.
to put the bloody washer on, or to whatever. It's a lot of
Sleeping with a little dolly.
oh yeah, what was that about with the dolly?
Yeah. I have to put it in its bag. Okay.
Yeah. God. There's a lot of she's like warning that someone's listening. And I guess that feels like meta because they're already now thinking about Evie and Justin in a way, like oh, someone's listening to us. I kind of like that element of it, like that potential.
Like the end of Assassin's Creed 2, where they talk to Desmond in the old Animus. It's exactly what happens.
That's exactly what happens, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Love a deep dive for you there.
Someone's watching this.
Justin at one point he attempts to respond to the sender, as we mentioned before, only for the email to bloody bounce back. And then Evie says, "Oh, they've deleted their account." Oh yeah,
That would, you know what? That'd be quite spooky if you were Justin and that comes back. I don't know if you've ever sent a email to a dead email address, man. You know what you get an email back from?
yourself.
Mailer demon.
Oh, mailer demon. Straight away as well. Happens straight away.
I've got an email from a demon here. Watch out.
I always felt like the people calling in as well. I don't know how I felt about this bit. I felt like maybe the skeptic in me, but I was like, who are these people? Bollocks.
You were all up at
bollocks.
3 a.m. listening to this live stream.
Yeah.
It's a bit like if their podcast was like, I don't know, a massive one. I don't think we ever get the inclination that it is that. It's kind of just like a small independent little podcast.
Yeah,
but yeah, people calling up and going
live locally at 3 a.m. Maybe you've got a huge following in Singapore where it's lunchtime.
A caller claims and says that, oh, I was Mike and Jess's neighbor, and the fact is like, oh, it's just down the road as well. Like I felt like what?
Yeah, it's like the search engine that she uses. It's like conveniently easy to find stuff. Like everything she was typing in, like nursery rhymes backwards. It was just basically
the first
just coming
thing she
through.
found. Yeah. Not the
and it wasn't the case that the first she got a useless AI summary and then
Abuzu, was it? Abuzu. I can't say
that's what it would say because it's wrong. Confidently wrong all the time.
Abuzu was a right laugh.
Abuzu was a right laugh, and then several things about like buy backwards nursery rhymes here from Amazon.com. Sponsored. She'd have to go to the second page of links before she actually finds anything she wants.
So unhex yourself.
Yes.
Unhex yourself. I'll tell you what you should do when you're trying to unhex yourself. Don't start drawing things in crayon.
No,
that's a
that
terrible
was
thing to do.
Yeah, that kind of bothered me as well. Like finding the convenient box of crayons in the drawer and then
in your elderly mother's house.
Yeah.
What's that about? She'd been to TGI Fridays, I think, and got one of those little
the kids' meal.
Those little
kids a beef eater.
Keep her occupied while the grown-ups are talking.
Yeah.
Do you Mayhem shut up?
Keep me old mum occupied. So yeah, there's that one guy who calls up and says like, "Oh, this couple lived down the road from me. They're found dead in their home with plastic bags over their heads." That's the one thing you're told not to do with a plastic bag. Don't put it on your head.
That was top 3 when you were a kid, mate. Saying like quicksand, sharks, and swimming pool. Plastic.
I used to think it was insta death. Like you put the bag on your head and that was it. You're gone. Crayon drawings of babies all over their walls. Bloody hell! But why wouldn't this Evie would know about this if this had happened and this guy knew it? It would be at least local news, wouldn't it?
And she doesn't Google them, does she?
No. No, no, she doesn't. And then I think, yeah, it was revealed that Jessa was pregnant at the time of death. Um, I guess the only creepy thing from these calls was when the caller was demanding to speak to Mary, which was kind of creepy because Evie had previously said she was going to name that, like if she had a child, she was going to name that child. Um,
Mary. Yeah.
there's no one here with this name. I want to talk to your unborn child, please. It's not
Well,
appropriate.
listen, even if I'm accepting this 6-week-old like fertilized embryo inside me as as a she can't come to the phone.
Put the phone to your belly. Put the phone to your belly. Put the phone. Come on. I got to have a word. Um, so yeah, there's that, which was obviously a bit. She doesn't tell Justin that she's pregnant, does she?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Again, I feel like there are a few missed opportunities within this. I feel like there were genuinely some creepy ideas in there. I enjoy the fact what I wanted them to do more was the fact that these podcast hosts maybe they were like influencing the recordings in a way or affecting them, that like these recordings could hear them or knew they were being listened to or knew that they were finding out stuff about this and it was affecting the recordings. Like that in itself is quite an interesting idea, but I only think they really just touched on it and
Yeah.
didn't like go right into it, um which is a shame, I guess. um
I'd
and
have been tempted almost from a technical perspective to have this as a screen movie, and I would have had them on a
yeah,
Zoom, a bit like
yeah.
we are now, but recording a podcast. Maybe you could do some cutaways to them sitting down at the thing, but then I would have 100% of it in your audio, and you could have what the backgrounds are doing. I know you are inviting host comparisons if you do that, but
Yeah.
with the things you're playing with the audio, that way you could have maybe had a little bit more room to build up their relationship a little bit, have more of them talking off pod, and have her just talking about her mum.
Yeah.
Like we
Mm-hmm.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there another scare with the mum? I know you said about her sitting up in bed. That was when she's in the room, the light goes on. And again, we're kind of like our attention is elsewhere. We're kind of looking at the room with the light on, thinking there's going to be the scare. And that's when her mum like sits up.
Sits up like the Undertaker in bed.
Sits up just like the Undertaker in bed. Very good core strength she's got. So just
Yeah.
Yeah. For somebody who's
Someone who's
yeah,
been
yeah.
been bed
prone for
bound.
someone who's been prone and she's literally listening for a death rattle, and now she's
Oh yeah, we talk about that a lot as well, obviously, because
Mm.
the nurse sort of mentions the death rattle. What will it sound like? It will sound like a rattle before she dies, essentially. And there's a lot of that in the sound design as well, isn't there? Like whether it's us anticipating
yeah, this
her.
wheezy breath when we look over her on several occasions.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, and I mean, I think that point of view shot as well, like coming down the stairs, was pretty
Yeah,
creepy. This was
some
a bit
good technique.
poltergeisty. This house, I think, it's a smaller poltergeisty house, but I was getting those vibes from it. I don't know if you guys were as well,
Yeah.
a little bit. Um. Okay, and then there is a final caller named Abby, um, who begs for help or an incessantly crying child. Is this supposed to be like a sort of a potential flash forward to what Evie could be going through potentially?
Or like again, there are some heavy and serious themes in here.
Mm.
Obviously, postpartum depression is an incredibly damaging and like serious issue. And I think it does, certainly we've seen plenty of examples of it in horror. Ben, we saw at what Fright Fest Glasgow, Mom was a
Yeah,
huge exploration of that a few years ago, to name just one example. It feels in this instance, and maybe it was a bit of a hat on a hat on a hat, and you're trying to cover quite a lot of themes, and by extension, you're not really getting that much of a message about many of them. We could have just done with
Mm.
one or two,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
mm, yeah, like it should really have focused in
Yeah, I mean, and
on
it's a
one
huge
theme.
thing, particularly looking at her. I don't know personally. Maybe I would have done the guilt about the carer's fatigue and the mother, and her relationship with her mother, maybe you could have had the pregnancy and, feeling like this cycle was continuing, but then having, the specter of a ghost which is so heavily tied to miscarriage, and then, also having this sort of, I don't want to use the word non sequitur lightly, Ben, but I will. Like it is almost like a bit of a left field inclusion at this point. So I don't feel what the connective tissue is. Please correct me if either of you feel differently, though.
Yeah, I think you're right. And also then you've got addiction stuff as well that got kind of hinted at, and
Oh yeah, the
there was just
alcoholism.
yeah,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
just a tiny bit. Yeah.
It's always said you've been drinking again, doesn't it? Like, yeah,
Yeah, he Justin asks her, "You're not drinking again, are you?" And she kind of swigs from, I think was it whiskey or vodka or something. She's kind of clutching the mug as well. Um,
Mm.
and she lies. So there's obviously some kind of disordered relationship
hmm
with alcohol.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Again,
think
it's
it
just
throws
touched on, isn't
a
it?
lot of serious issues at the wall, and maybe you didn't need. You could have explored some, one or two of them more deeply and in a more connected way than, just go mad with your trigger warnings page as you did here, because it sometimes feels, it might on occasion feel a little bit scattergun, and I haven't had the benefit of seeing, interviews with a writer or director, and maybe there's lots of very, personal reasons that
Mm.
are included.
Yeah, I think it does a lot more technically than it does story-wise, I would say.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
which I think, yeah, as we said about the sound design, doing a lot of the hard work. Um, so obviously this call is quite distressing with the crying child and Abby sort of saying she can't do it anymore, etc. And then that she's gonna kill the infant, and Evie and Justin like plead with her not to. Um, and then that is when she kind of like makes this, and again this kind of throws everything into a little bit of a loop, because I kind of do think is because she says her mother's died and she confesses to that and says that she inadvertently is responsible for it because she refused to pray for her mother or refused to hit send on all of her prayers.
Yeah.
And
Remember, she did 99% of that prayer, but fuck, I've not said
I
amen
I
after she's
kept thinking
died.
there was maybe going to be a reveal that her mum was dead, had been dead all along, or maybe it had been dead a while, and maybe Evie hadn't. Because again, that would lean into all of that, the carer's responsibility and stuff, and kind of like the isolation, the fact that potentially we did mention as well. We forgot to mention, sorry, that when Evie went out to to go to that party, she came back the morning after, and her mum was like face down on the floor. So it's almost like that guilt, I guess, for not being there all the time, that overwhelming nature of it. I thought maybe there was going to be a reveal that her mother had died a while ago, and Evie,
Yeah.
not that Evie hadn't noticed, but that maybe Evie hadn't come to terms with it in a way. She was still kind of going through the motions, and
Yeah, and even if it had been, explored that, you've options there. You can either have that she is dead in that room, and, and it's like a horror, it's like a proper horror scene at the end where you've failed to address that,
Mm.
and it's, festered, and that's, where the horrors are coming from, because actually you're living in the house with a dead body. Or do you make it a psychological thing and say, oh no, the authorities were informed and she's been taken from the house, but now you are sort of continuing this sort of ritualistic behavior,
mm,
going to the bedside and talking to your mom and listening to those voice notes and recordings, because that could be a really interesting explanation about how you can
yeah,
live on after you physically died, right? Because folks like us, especially, and podcasting and so on, hundreds of hours of stuff embedded fairly permanently onto the internet. Like, you could have explored that kind of theming as well, maybe, but we
yeah.
don't. We just kind of imply that she's died, and we don't see anything of that, which kind of took me out a little.
Well, why haven't Americans got electric kettles over the bloody whistling? Get that kettle off the hob whistling kettle. That's just another noise to have to deal with. Get a lovely electric kettle. Come on.
I'd love to comment on their foolishness there, but it's their power grid. Power
Oh,
grid in
yeah.
this country carries a higher load. Typical American houses
Well, I
don't
take
have
it
the
back then,
voltage
Andy.
to run an electric kettle.
Got an answer for everything, haven't you?
That's
I
why
did
when you
not
stay in
know
North
that.
America, you've got a coffee machine in your thing, but the hotel probably, in most cases, don't give you a kettle. Their standard voltage isn't sufficient to run them.
That's what we need to lead with on this podcast, in this episode. Right, everyone, we're talking about the Undertone today, but we've also got some big news coming out
I
from Andy
mean,
Conduit Turner.
this is what people come to the horror hangout for. I told them a lot about the geology of Hawaii when we did Primate.
Yeah, he did. Thanks for that. I sounded
Learning,
sarcastic, sorry.
learning about it all.
Thanks for that. Bloody hell. I cut it out actually. You didn't notice. No, I'm joking. I would never. So yeah, I think
That'd involve us editing.
that would involve editing, which obviously we stand dead against, don't we, on this show?
Yeah,
Um,
more so than a monarchy.
So there's this like final kind of like creepy moment where she rushes upstairs. The lights are all flickering. Obviously, we said about that video at the start. Ends up playing on a TV, the bright red of it.
I mean,
Again,
that's
that
just
kind of
there, isn't it? Yeah.
that's just playing. She unplugs the TV. Bloody power grid. Can't turn, can't turn the TV
If I'm
off.
gonna get a kettle on, I'm gonna have to unplug a few things.
Just want a cup of tea.
Yeah, it's like Command and Conquer. You've not built on a power plant, so you've got to get the balances just right.
All the creepy crayon drawings on the wall. Dead, bloodied infants. Draw something nice. Draw something nice for God's sake. Lovely rainbow.
It was only black and red crayons.
That's
so it was
true,
that
actually,
or Darth Maul.
Yeah.
You've drawn 100 Darth Mauls up here.
Can you imagine you've got around there's a big Darth Maul?
Darth Maul's in bloody Insidious as well, so
Yeah.
clearly some connections to demonic possession horror. And I guess the scare that we get here, I think again, like, how do we feel about this? Because she sees her mother standing in the bathroom, and the scare we get, it kind of how's the best way to describe this?
A mum, but he comes at her like Cleopatra, is how I describe
Comes
it.
at her
Ben.
backwards, right? Is that right? Walks at her backwards.
Comes at her backwards. You're gonna drop kicked her.
Just a
Yeah.
shove.
I guess it's just a...
Like I love my mum Ben, and I hope I can go through the rest of my life without ever having a physical fight with her. But I reckon I could fucking do her in if she was dead and she was trying to get me.
next Christmas. Next Christmas, things are gonna kick right off.
She weighs
Fair
8
enough,
stone
so-
soaking wet, Ben. It'll be like that time that
Yeah.
Batman fought Bane. It's-
Back broken. Yeah,
Especially if she was a ghost.
yeah. Is she a ghost or is she possessed by the spirit of Abazu at the moment?
Yeah, Abazu wants to get that on the CV.
Abazu. I don't know what. I knew it reminded me of something.
So it turns out that Abazu is
Abazu's party hits.
the patron saint / demon of miscarriages, possessing mum corpses, pushing pineapples and shaking trees.
80s parties.
Yeah.
Kids Bop covers of Kids Bop covers of that.
All the instruments have been replaced with the recorder, even the percussion.
Have I missed anything major about the plot here? Because I feel like I've like gone through that pretty quickly. But I guess plot wise, it's more like it really is more atmosphere.
Vibes based.
These recordings being played and kind of listening to them along with the hosts, and then like just various small level scares until we get some bigger scares towards the end. That's kind of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've missed anything major. So I mean, that's it. That's Undertone. That is, and weirdly, I kind of felt like I enjoyed it more than I did when I was discussing this. But I think there are some issues, there are some missed opportunities. But I guess we should rate the film. So we've got on the show we do A to F, pluses and minuses allowed. Classic school ratings. Where would you like to rate Undertone, Emma?
I think the more we've chatted tonight, I think I think the rating's gone down slightly. So I would say maybe a C, so right in the middle.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Right in the middle. Yeah, I felt pretty positive about it. Originally, I think there were some genuine scares. There was some genuine
Mm,
tension where I was like, but then again, because I don't really like jump scares. Not just because of the way they make me feel, but also like just in horror, I feel like sometimes you can have a naff horror film, and then if suddenly you're made to jump, I'm like, well, it's not really a scare. It's just a loud noise.
You've made a
But
loud noise. These
but I
things
feel like
frighten
these,
me always.
yeah, I'll get if I was watching bloody Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and there was a loud noise, I'd be scared. You wouldn't call that a horror movie, but I would say I'm gonna go for a C plus just because I feel like the sound design is that good
mm.
that I just feel like story wise, like mythology wise, it's a bit generic. It's a bit by the numbers, isn't it?
I think they just
Like
threw such a lot in. I think what you were saying, Andy, about kind of if they'd stripped that right back and just concentrated on maybe one or two of the themes, you could have had a much more interesting um film. I think just chucking
mm,
all the elements in was just maybe a bit overkill.
Yeah. And especially as they're already circling a prequel, sequel, whatever,
Yeah.
get get that in there. Talk about one of those other issues later and just give me the real focus on the one.
mm,
Um,
Andy.
I'm gonna join Emma on a C, I think. Technically wonderful. I think definitely worth one, support your cinemas anyway. Go and watch it. I think great with a good sound system. You'll get some in the moment scares, but I think the overall narrative is maybe a little bit too scattered for my taste. You know what? This would have worked for me, Ben. Um, have the courage. I know you're looking at a very different audience, but give me this as an audio thing. Like release this as a like marketing time, corporate synergy o'clock, Ben, is what we're about to go in for. Release this as a honest to goodness War of the Worlds this shit. Make out like this is a paranormal podcast. Give me two actors that are giving this thing. The illusion would quickly be broken because you would have to run ads. But but present this as much as you can as a straightforward podcast discussion. That you know what? Do a couple of running episodes that are about nothing, that are standalone throwaway episodes, and then do this story over a couple of weeks of episodes. Do like a couple of episodes where you have to cut it short and someone's going a bit off and they have to you know you have the cuts in there. You
Mm,
could make this a tremendously scary podcast that people would talk about as a film where it's obviously naturally already that packaged piece of entertainment. It kind of strips out the deeper lore that is in there because it approaches it in a way that didn't necessarily work for me.
mm.
Still worth seeing, but I don't know if it'll be troubling me in the long run for
Yeah.
the
It won't be
top 10.
troubling you in the long run unless you've got to walk back to your house from your little recording studio in the dark.
Yeah, I
I
do
think we've
have my
saved
trusty head torch
I think we've
somewhere.
saved Emma from that now. Now, Ben, that you pointed out that the name of the demon fits perfectly into the tune of
Just
Agony.
sing it. Just sing along. Just sing Agadoo on your way through the garden. You'll be
I'll
absolutely
just
fine.
I'll walk back just clutching my Pazuzu. He'll save
Yeah,
me.
They won't mess with you if they see Pazuzu's
Yeah,
involved. They'll
yeah,
go,
it'll be a
"Oh,
big demon fight off in my back garden.
there we go." Um, there we go. So that was Undertone. Thank you so much for joining us, Emma. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you all about um this film for this week. Where can our listeners keep up to speed with you and the Horror and Her podcast online?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I've had an absolute blast this evening. If you're wanting to listen to the Horror and Her, you can get her. You can get it everywhere you get your podcasts. And I'm on Instagram a lot, so it's the Horror and Her podcast on Instagram.
Amazing. We'll put links to that in the show notes, of course. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to all of our patrons at patreon.com/horror hangout. Join us over there. Give us a rating or review on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, horrorhangout.co.uk for everything in one place. Next week, we're discussing Lee Cronin's The Mummy with returning guest Terrell Graham. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. And in the meantime, everyone, little bit of podcast housekeeping. If you ever hear me unironically speaking to Ben or any of our guests about getting into character, come and haunt me, get me. Honestly, I deserve it.
See you
Phone up and ask
later.
to speak to Mary as much as you want.
See you
I'll have
later
earned
for
it.
Andy Conduit Turner versus his mum. Bye.
You had not a chance, mate. It's over.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.